Standing. Pow!
FATENZO.com, 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 FATENZO.com. FATENZO.com, FATENZO.com, FATENZO.com.
Oh, yes. Good morning.
And happy Monday and
Yeah.
14th week of ordinary time. And also, happy 4th of July.
That's
movies.
right. That's right. Happy Independence Day.
Yeah.
God gave us our freedom,
Yes.
right? We received our freedom directly from God. And the title of this show is God Bless America, because we have a special guest on today. And that's kind of like a tagline that she says a lot after her videos.
Okay.
This is a based Army vet, poet, artist, Cuban American, NADIA, New York NADIA. She's on Instagram, TikTok. She makes viral social media videos. And I like the cross and the black shirt thing. I'm gonna try to match the vibe right now. I'll match it. Let me match the vibe. Oh, I'm sorry about the, you're so critical because you're an artist. I deal with the same thing all the time, okay? Whenever I deal with artist-type people, if they're doing something for me, good luck.
Okay, yeah.
Good luck, because I'm very critical. And when you deal with another artist person, they're always going to pick apart everything. It's just the thing that we do. But when you're like dealing with somebody who's not an artistic person, if you do something, then they're like, oh, that's awesome, right?
Yeah, that
You know what I'm
little
saying?
bit on my end. I don't pick up as much of it. I really don't.
Yeah. So hey, thank you so much for joining us. Joining us on July 4th, poopies. If you guys are watching, this is a brand new show. This is a brand new episode. This, if you don't know, this is the FATENZO show. This is episode 40. We've done this 40 times in a row.
Yeah.
And what we do basically, I go to mass every single day. Okay, I'm crazy. I go to mass every day. I'm hyped up on hyper religiosity. Okay,
Borderline hyper religiosity.
borderline hyper religiosity. And so we talk about the good news,
Which is from the book,
which is from the book, and then we talk about the bad news,
which is of the world.
which is of the world. Okay, my name, it doesn't matter what my name is. I'm name fluid. Okay, but I'm an English major who does not know pronouns. And this is America's finest Asian sidekick, Genghis Khan. Now, New York NADIA is our guest today. And maybe before, I don't know if I should do it after or before. Should I show you where I discovered you? I took a video of you last year, maybe September. It was at a protest
I think it was
in New York. Here, this is you saying a poem and speaking to a crowd. Hold on one sec. Here you go.
Thank you. I moved to New York City 6 days before 9/11. It was a very tough time for our city and for our country. But we got through it. My mother was in Miami and she said, come back. I just moved here. I made a lot of sacrifices. I said no. Because New Yorkers were tough. Because they had vigor. Because they were courageous. We didn't attack one another. We didn't live in fear of one another. We didn't point fingers at one another. We didn't divide one another. We got on the train, we lived our lives, and we moved on. If Giuliani or Pataki had mandated to keep our Muslim citizens from going inside of buildings after 9/11 because they posed a potential threat, millions of New Yorkers would have flooded the streets in protest. The unions would have halted this city in protest. Where are the millions now? Where are the unions now? How many backdoor deals are being made right now? And they're selling us out. If you're paying union dues, go to your leadership, demand them to end this madness, because it could end. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that if we unite, it's gonna be fine. No, it's not. History is rife with examples of how difficult any challenge to government overreach will be. You will incur losses. You should know this right now. If you are not willing to incur those losses, step aside. Don't wait for the next man to join. Don't wait for some community to stand up. We must all stand up as individuals by ourselves. And there will be losses. You need to accept this if this is going to change. In closing, I'd like to share a poem with you. They got deleted off my YouTube channel. Out of all the videos that I posted, that was the one thing that YouTube could not stomach. It's funny because many years ago, Banksy, who's a street artist, once wrote on a mural, if art could change anything, it would be illegal. And he should know. They've been after him for years. And it astounded me that my poem was what got shut down. Days, death toll tallies, intubations, lockdowns, masks save lives, months pass by, get tested, vaccines save lives, months pass by, death toll tallies, economic collapse, months pass by, masks don't work, vaccines don't work, the tests don't work, get tested anyway. Do you see it yet? Climate change, sex change, follow the science. Men are women, ignore the science. Women are cis, they don't exist. Breastfeeding is chest feeding. They, them, kids are sexual. Little girls are kinky. 8-year-old drag queens because trans is beautiful and degeneracy is tolerance. Do you see it yet? 1776, 1984, left, right, Democrat, Republican, capitalism, sexism, racism, socialism, communism, globalism, new world order, chaos, disorder, BLM, CRT, MAGA, Antifa, defund, debase, erase, virus, death toll declines, crime, death toll surges, open borders, kids in cages, kids trafficked, kids raped, kids killed in the womb. Get jabbed anyway. Variance, because you're not complying. Do you see it yet? Do you see it yet? Do you see it yet? Thank you. God bless.
You see it yet? I think we see it.
Oh, yeah.
I think we see it.
I think a lot of Americans see it now.
I think a lot of people are seeing it now. Yes. So that got erased off your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so when I made the poem, I put it on my YouTube channel, and it was just as you heard it. And it was just a black and white video, just nothing big, no music, nothing. And I said, okay, cool, let's see what happens. And like a week later, it got taken down and I got put in YouTube jail for a week. And I got a notification from YouTube saying, oh, you know, it's going against community standards, whatever. I was like, okay. And 2 weeks after that, I received a message on Twitter from a follower, and he said, listen, I hope you don't mind, but a friend of mine and I made this song out of your poem. And they had done a full-on like production. It was amazing. Like, it blew my mind. And he was like, I hope you don't mind, but this is what we have. And I said, can I use this? He said, of course, go ahead, use it. And so I did. So now I reposted that song onto YouTube thinking that the algorithm wouldn't really pick it up because it has music, it's production, there's a lot of music on YouTube, it should be fine. And it took off. And 2 weeks later, I was once again put in YouTube jail for 3 weeks. And once again, they said, oh, you're violating our community standards. And I responded to that one. And I said, well, what standards? What are the violations? Like, I need to know what the violations are. So they sent me the same, you know, copy pasted everything. And of course, it didn't violate anything on their standards. And so I responded again. And I said, you have to point this out to me. You're taking me down. You're putting me in jail. I need to know what's going on. No response whatsoever. And so I just put the video up on Vimeo, and it still lives there. It's on my Instagram. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I put it up a couple places. It's on TikTok. It's on Rumble. I get no traction on Rumble. Everybody's like, oh, post on Rumble, it'll be fine. Nobody pays attention to me on Rumble. I guess it's like, whatever. But yeah, that video was actually turned into a song, and the song is available on iTunes.
All right, awesome. That's cool. You know, and honestly, I don't use Rumble that much either. I'm not sure how much Rumble is really used yet. Like, I mean, I'm just going off of my own perception of who I know, whatever. I don't know many people personally that use it, but
they canceled me at one point or whatever. So what? And everybody says that they don't cancel people, but they canceled me.
That's what I've heard.
I've been totally.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you've been canceled.
What do you think about cancellation?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, obviously it's very dangerous. I think people should be allowed to speak their mind. I think that it's very important for all of us to know where everybody else is standing. I don't see any danger in people speaking their mind. In fact, I prefer it. I want to know exactly where everybody stands. And when people are canceled, we don't get that. This is I think, it's very obviously a social engineering experiment, right? This is obviously not organic to our country. It's not organic to the way that we were founded. It's not organic to the way our belief system and our values. So this is social engineering done from an outside source. When I say outside source, it's not necessarily outside of the country. It's in the country. It's within our borders, but it's not of our country, right? Yeah. So yes. There are people here inside of this country that are not of this country. And we've allowed that to happen because of primarily economic reasons, right? So whether it's, getting people on a merit-based system, like, okay, we need more scientists or we need more doctors, and there are better scientists and doctors in XYZ country, and they're going to come in here. That happens, but I don't think those are the people that are behind this. I think the people that are behind this, it's very clear for anybody who does any sort of research. I do. you connect the dots, and it's very clear and obvious where this is coming from and why. So where I stand on cancel culture is that it is an inorganic social engineering project by people that are in this country but are not of this country.
Okay, I think that we're gonna really we're on a similar wavelength here. Okay,
Definitely.
So guys, everybody, so we're gonna have Nadia on the show. Today we're going to talk about, let me just give a rundown because we didn't really give the rundown.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we're going to talk about some of the good news today in the good news section. God gave us freedom. God will heal us. God bless America. Okay. Shia LaBeouf is cast as Saint Padre Pio in an upcoming biopic. That's interesting. I got Padre Pio right up here on the wall.
Yes, you do.
Florida law officially prohibits sexuality and gender identity. Oh my God, my throat is so bad. In elementary school curriculum. And then, so maybe I don't even know if you do want to stick around for the rest of the show, guys, because I'm gonna have to rely on you and Nadia to help out here. In the bad news section, we got Jayland Walker shot 60 times by police. New York governor to require 3 years of social media history for gun carry permit.
Yeah, it's all that.
2A saves a day for worker in Milwaukee. Ilhan Omar is booed at a Somali singer's concert. Okay. And lives a TikTok doing the God's work, of course. As always, children in New York City being V'd out, people protesting. And then this dude punches a lady in the face for no reason. I have a video of that too. So before we get into everything, what we do is we have a credo that we say, and I could send it to you and you can go along with us if you want to say it too. But since you haven't read it, I guess it's not a credo you should say, but we're going to say it. And if you want to just listen, and I hope you
enjoy it.
I hope you agree with a lot of it. All right. So here we go. I believe that the freedom of speech is a universal international right, that all opinions shall be tolerated, regardless if agreeable or disagreeable. I believe in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, not from it, freedom of the press, the right of the people to peaceably assemble, be it physically or digitally or virtually. I believe in the separation of church and state and corporation. I believe that truth is non-binary and can be objective, subjective, normative, or complex. There are no eternal facts, as there are no absolute truths except the Word of God. For us creators and for our content, great thinkers have philosophized, and our founding fathers debated the dangers of cancellation and censorship for centuries. And no individual shall be indemnified of criticism or mockery, for there is honesty in jest. I pledge the ideas I share are my own and are not the expressed opinions of any violent criminal organizations. The only group I represent is the human race, and I reserve the right to interview any of my counterparts without fear, threat, or intimidation. With their opinions being their own, my opinions being my own, for association does not always equal shared beliefs. I pledge to perform in a professional, dignified manner and to not bully, harass, or slander my fellow human creatures, to refrain from hate, anger, sedition, vulgarity, harassment, pornography, cautioning that sarcasm can at times be misinterpreted as such. I believe in the counter-speech doctrine, that the remedy to negative, harmful speech is more positive, helpful speech, not enforced silence. That no person shall be denied access to social media, which is the marketplace of ideas and today's town square, that Section 230 privatizes communism and legalizes slander, and that content creators who have broken community guidelines in the past deserve retribution because we are all constituents of the human party and humans are fallible. Amen.
Outstanding. Pow!
All right. That felt good.
Felt good.
Yeah.
Need some honey too. Might need some.
Let me do it. Let me do some.
So Nadia, what's so are you also like a Catholic like Rob is here, or RVP or whatever his name is
I
today?
am a Catholic, yes.
Yeah. Do you go to mass every day? Just out of curiosity.
No way. No way she does.
No.
No. I'm on the outside of it a little bit. I was baptized when I was a kid and all that. But like, do you find that people may be returning to like at least some kind of faith more nowadays than maybe the past 10 years? I'll even say.
I definitely think that the pendulum swings, right? And what we're seeing right now is a very violent swing. And a very violent swing to the left that's been going on for a couple of years. I'd say in my lifetime for the past 20, ever since 9/11. I moved to New York City 6 days before 9/11, and I saw it. I saw it happening. And in 2018, I made a prediction that, 2008. I made a prediction with very close people, and I said, this is what's going to happen. And excuse me, everyone at that time was like, nah, it's never going to happen here. And it's definitely happening. I think that the pendulum will swing very violently to the right, very swiftly. The left swing is untenable. It's anti-life. It's anti-health. It's anti-strength and vigor. And therefore, it's just physics, right? So the pendulum right now is starting to swing. It is going to catch momentum, and it will swing very, very far right.
And Nadia,
which, in my opinion, I mean, all extreme.
What we say here on the show is we say the pendulum is going to swing back, and it's going to slice the head off the people that are trying to make the pendulum not swing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's
no way to stop pendulum.
They're trying to.
Well, they're
what we believe.
Yeah,
they're trying to stop it with all their power, all their might, and all their schemes and stuff like that.
They always try to stop it with all kinds of different things.
And it's just going to come back even harder on them.
And it's going to come back harder on them.
Yeah, like we're trying to stop
because you can't, because the way that the America stays awesome is because we stay in the middle. Because the pendulum swings to the right and swings to the left, and therefore we always stay in the middle.
Yeah.
And and then they
I think eventually we will get to the middle, but it's not going to be, the pendulum isn't going to swing from the far left to the middle. That's not.
No, I know.
See, every action has an opposite reaction. So the more it's dragged to the left, the swifter it's going to, and the more extreme it'll swing to the right.
Correct.
But we won't get to the middle for some time.
Right, you're right.
And I think it's going to be a very drastic change insofar as the way that our government looks and how it functions.
So
and
basically,
it has to happen.
You're making a similar argument that what we make.
Yeah,
it's just similar. It's very, very similar to what we say.
I will say like this: we want it to be in the middle. Do I think it's gonna get there yet? No, I do.
The reason why this country stays in the middle is because every 2 years we have elections, and you vote in Republicans or Democrats. Yes, it's been overtaken.
Mm-hmm.
What I believe it's called. You could either call it the collective dictatorship or it's the inverted dictatorship. But basically, all of the different Congress people, like a swarm of bees, they're all individually owned, bought and paid for by social media corporations, all kinds of different
other corporations,
all kinds of different companies, oligarchs, things like that. And when they operate in unison, like a mafia, and then they have their tentacles and everything, that's what's going on here. And they try to artificially stop the pendulum from swinging. And they also interfere with the other branches of supposed to be equal government. You see it right now with what's going on with the justices.
Yeah.
And then you saw it for the last 4 years with Trump, the executive. So this collective dictatorship that's going on right now within the country.
It's got to stop, and when it stops, it's gonna
be violent. You're just like you said, it's going to be violent when it comes back because you can't stop the pendulum. People want what they don't have, like we were been talking about on the show.
Mm-hmm.
People want what they don't have. If they don't have, if everything's secular and there is no religion, if there is no spirituality whatsoever, people are going to crave spirituality.
In one way, yeah.
If spirituality is jammed down your throat, you have like a hippie movement during the 70s or 60s. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually very accurate on how I think on it.
Yeah. And so right now we're in this weird situation because communism was never able to really seep its way into the capitalistic structure of
the West,
America.
Of America and everything, yeah.
And they figured, what I think they did is they did it through privatization. So like you have these social media companies. I just think that they're means of communication, just like a telephone. Okay. And like a telephone, you started adding on, they have the email on the telephone. They got your text messages. You do video sharing, right? You do
hey, Zoom is even a phone call. Yeah.
You do picture sharing.
Yeah. Within
all of those things became a social media, basically. Just like a macro version of that. Email is Facebook, texting is Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Picture sharing is Instagram. Video sharing is YouTube. And the ones who got to it first in, best dressed, they were the ones who capitalized on that. And they we used to break up monopolies in this country, but I guess we don't do that anymore. And we just enable them to cancel people swiftly when that's anyway, there's a lot going on. But I get a lot of different people have different ways to explain it.
Mm-hmm. I heard this argument numerous times.
Mm-hmm. So
every time.
Before we get into the good news or bad news, let's highlight Nadia a little bit because I just think it's interesting. She has a lot of cool videos. Let's see her, or we can relate it to throughout the show. That would be kind of, because she has different ones, like one about abortion, one about Ilan. I got the one about snowflakes.
Yeah. Or you can just ask me what I think because I'm here. I'm literally here. You can just ask me.
Yeah. Listen, it's that one thing. Stay in the moment. It's a show that we're doing. We do a show. You're a part of it. It's part of a show. You're part of the show. Do you know what I'm saying? Moment. Stay in the moment.
Cool.
Calm.
I am in the moment.
And also be boring. Don't worry about it. Just relax. Who cares? Okay? Everything good? All right. So let's get into the good news. Do the good news. I think she needs good news. She needs good news.
All right.
So today in Mass today in Mass, today is 4th of July, but it's also Monday, the 14th week in ordinary time. The Lord says to his beloved, I will lead her into the desert and speak to her heart. It was this call that drew the woman with the hemorrhages to Jesus. The gracious and merciful Lord espouses us in fidelity, despite our infidelity. When all seems lost, Christ comes to us and gives us back our life.
Like that. What's your thoughts on that? Nadia?
No. Hold on. Let's go into the readings first. We'll do the readings, bang out the readings, and then we'll get we'll start talking about this from a standpoint of, spirituality. All right?
All right.
The first reading from the prophet Hosea. Thus says the Lord, I will allure her. I will lead her into the desert and speak to her. She shall respond there as in the days of her youth, when she came up from the land of Egypt. On that day, says the Lord, she shall call me my husband, and never again my ball. I will espouse you to me forever. I will espouse you in right and in just, in love and in mercy. I will espouse you in fidelity, and you shall know the Lord. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. And then the second, we always do 2 readings. You always do one reading from the old and one from the new, right?
Yep.
A lot of times. I guess they call it the gospel.
Yeah.
Well, they do readings from, and then you do the gospel, right?
Yeah.
So this is the gospel according to Matthew.
While Jesus was speaking, an official came forward, knelt down before him, and said, "My daughter has just died, but come, lay your hand on her, and she will live." Jesus rose and followed him, and so did his disciples. A woman suffering hemorrhages for 12 years came up behind him and touched the tassel of his cloak. She said to herself, "If only I can touch his cloak, I shall be cured." Jesus turned around and saw her and said, "Courage, daughter, your faith has saved you." And from that hour, the woman was cured. When Jesus arrived at the official's house and saw the flute players and the crowd who were making a commotion, he said, "Go away. The girl is not dead, but sleeping." And they ridiculed him. When the crowd was put out, he came and took her by the hand, and the little girl arose. And news of this spread throughout the land. The gospel of the Lord.
Praise you, Lord Jesus Christ. See that? That's pretty cool. So that's basically like you're going to be healed.
Yeah.
By God, by the Lord, or whatever, Jesus, whoever.
That he had the power to heal you.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
What are you thinking on it now?
What do you think about the readings? Do they go together? A lot of do you think that they go together?
I think they do.
Can you explain it?
Yeah, I think that the Hosea one talked about leading her out into the desert, basically leading her to the unknown. You're supposed to follow me and trust. And then, as in the second reading, where the woman obviously trusts that he will heal her from the hemorrhages. Then on top of that, the second part where he goes to the house and everybody ridicules him, but yet the guy who requested him still trusted him that he would, bring his daughter back. And well, that's what happened. So
interesting, man.
It's a lot of trust.
Trusting.
Yeah, it's a
trusting lot. And following him.
They're the difference in my eyes.
She needs to trust and follow him, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Did you get anything from that, Nadia?
I was born and raised a Catholic, so yeah, aligned with how I was raised.
But from that specifically, the readings.
I mean, does Christ heal? I think so, but it's up to each individual to accept that. I think it has a lot to do with an individual's willingness to be helped. There's some people that just won't be helped. It's free will. Some people just will not. Either they can't neurologically accept help, or they psychologically can't accept it for whatever reason. But it's an individual choice. It's like what is it? Patient, heal thyself. It starts with the individual. When a person is ready, willing, and able to accept help, they realize that they need it and they want it. I think that, yeah, of course, people can be helped, people can be healed, but again, it is an individual choice. That's what I've seen.
Wow, that's true. And but doesn't somebody come up and touch his cloak though?
Yeah, the one
they instigate this whole thing. He doesn't go up
Correct.
and go, I'm gonna.
No, she did.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that's a good take on that. Right. Absolutely. You're right.
Yeah.
Because
so it has to be the individual. The individual has to look for help. The individual has to make the move. Has to want it. Has to have faith that it will work, or that it will actually change themselves. And you see this even today, like in therapy. Say, for example, there are people that go through therapy and they say, well, nothing really happened. I stopped going. Nothing happened. Yeah, because the person wasn't open to getting the help. It's like people that go to the gym. They work out a couple of times and they go, well, nothing happened. well, you know, you have to keep at it. It's a process, it's a lifestyle. So you're not going to get an instant result like within, because you just entered the gym. You still actually have to lift the weights. You actually have to do the cardio. And if you don't know, then you have to get the help of a personal trainer, a person who understands how to do this. And you have to follow that routine. You have to follow that regimen, and then you will see the, but you know, in order to get to that point, first and foremost, the person has to want it. They have to understand that they need it, and they have to actually want it. So I think that that's the lesson in that. You know, the woman reached out. She reached out. She had the faith. So it's the individual. It's how much it is within you. And Christ has said it many times. Your faith has healed you. Your faith has saved you. You know, it starts with the individual, and the power of Christ, specifically, since that's who we're talking about, has to do with, first and foremost, the individual seeking that out and understanding that that is a way to heal, that the word of God is a way to heal, and accepting that. But without that, you know, nothing changes.
You are so absolutely right. God, you really are so. She said everything right there. And you know what? But Parker, remember, I took you to church, took you to mass with me, right?
Yeah,
a couple Sundays ago. I said, "What did you get out of that?" And he said, "Nothing." And I said, "You only get out what you put into it."
Right.
But that's what I'm talking about. Exactly what she said. So when you go to the gym, yeah, if you have to actually lift the weight. So if you go to church, you're not sitting there actually putting in the work and trying to pray.
Well,
and really like what I believe in, Nadia. I'm not sure if you agree, but let me tell you this. I kind of have like a new age thought process on what Catholicism is. I go every day to mass, yes, but I'm not going, you know, like I could be going to a Buddhist temple. I believe that you could be, you know, sitting in the lotus position, or you could be kneeling like we do in the West. But it's really a centered prayer where you're just shutting your mind off and you're not saying anything, and you're just being quiet, and you're letting your heart speak, because God knows what's in your heart. You're not sitting there saying a bunch of stuff. So I love like the ambiance and the bells and the whole tradition and, you know, all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it just gets me into this peaceful, meditative mindset where I take on the rest of the day. And mass, it's not an hour long like it is on Sundays.
Right.
When you go on a Monday, like I just went on, it's really fast, in and out. They don't do any of the singing or anything like that. So it's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and you're out. So you can go to a yoga class and you can meditate or something, or you can go to mass. I just think of it differently. And we got a really cool priest too recently, yesterday, I think.
Oh yeah,
yesterday.
The Boston guy.
Boston Mass. Yeah. And his whole homily was all about, he was trying to trick people into meditation.
Basically, I feel like
he basically is. But what do you feel about meditation plus spirituality equals peace? What do you think about that? And sorry, there's a follow-up question. Do you feel that that the reason why we have all this messed up stuff going on in the country, all the guns, the mass shootings, all the things that are happening, do you think it's more a spiritual hole? Like there's a hole in people's hearts and they don't have any spirituality? Because I think that it's freedom of religion. And this is a good time to talk about it because it's 4th of July and this is our Independence Day. This is what it's all about. And I think freedom of religion is a big thing, but I don't think it's freedom of from religion.
It's of whatever your choice of religion is.
Yeah, because people are all secular now and they believe in science and BS. And it's like the devil stuff. They put up idolatry of these people that are in
they like trust in other humans, other people that aren't actually, as I would put it, a higher being. They're the same. They're on the same level.
So I know that's a lot of questions there, but I guess just riff off that. Sorry.
Well, I think that absolutely science is a way of explaining, in my opinion, explaining God. So, for example, I'm currently reading *Sapiens* by Yuval Harari. I'm studying this book because it's really fascinating to me to understand the mindset behind globalism, right? And the mindset behind all of the things that we are seeing, all the very negative, very detrimental movements that are going on. Like I said, social engineering, and I wanted to get to the psychological reasons behind these men and what they're doing. So I'm reading *Sapiens*, and very interesting. It is full of logical fallacies, but Harari is a very deft writer. So for most people, they'll read it and they'll say, "Oh, that's so interesting," but they won't realize how many fallacies are actually within a sentence. Now knowing who he is, I believe that the book first published like 8 years ago before anybody really knew who he was. And so they kind of just read the book, they took it at face value. Now knowing who he is, reading it is a much different experience because you know what his agenda is, what he's trying to lead his audience to understand. Harari's definitely a misanthrope. He is not a big fan of human beings. I won't go into why, but if you take a look at this guy, you'll understand he's probably suffered through a lot of trauma and has come to this understanding. So reading this book, however, especially in the beginning when he talks about Homo sapiens and how we started, it was very interesting to me to know that there were actually 6 different species of the genus Homo alive at the same time on Earth, right? So it's not like an evolutionary thing where we evolved from, say, Neanderthals. No, Neanderthals were a species of Homo, but there were others. And Homo sapiens ourselves, we came about like 70,000 ago. There's no understanding scientifically of why, right? There's no like, how did we come about? So I say that to say this, that definitely, in my opinion, science is a way to understand God's creation. It's not an opposition of, it is part of it. Like, obviously, this is intelligent design. When
I
there's
agree.
people that say everything is chaos, well, that's not
We agree.
true because, when you plant rose seeds, you get rose bushes, you don't get puppies, right? So if we lived in total chaos, we wouldn't be able to even have math. Math wouldn't exist. So clearly this is intelligent design. In my opinion, science is a way of understanding that design or getting to like, how did these things come about, or the mind of God, the actual creative process of God, what is behind it. So that's what science is. I think that nowadays people have untethered science from God because, once again, it's been a social engineering project. It's been going on for a long time. I think it's very important for certain people, in order to get their agenda done, the first thing they have to do is break down men, specifically masculinity. They have to separate human beings from God. You can't believe in something bigger than yourself. You can't understand it, or else you will have a type of courage that you wouldn't have otherwise. So mocking religion has gone on for like, I don't know, maybe 40 years, 50 years to get people into a mindset where, oh, that's so funny. Oh, you believe in God. Like, that's hilarious. And then now that's, finished. Once you untether people from their source of energy, then they're easily manipulated. Then you can go after men. You can break down masculinity. You can call it toxic. You can make men weak. You can neuter them, whether it's physically or psychologically. Now, once the men are gone, women and children are open to attack. So now the next step is you attack women. They don't exist. Anyone can be a woman. What is a woman? You can't define a woman. Now that adult males and females are under attack and completely eviscerated, now the children are open to attack because there's no one there to protect them. So now you go after the kids and you confuse them with, gender identity, or teaching them about sexuality when they don't, first of all, have the neurological maturity to understand concepts like this, nor do they have to be exposed to that. This is grooming. So this is all happening because of the breakdown of, first and foremost, men. And the way that happened was to untether men from their source of energy, which is God. And a man without a true sense of God, without a sense of duty, without a sense of a connection to his maker, will very easily fall into despair and kind of like giving up. I have videos up where I had a situation on a train, and it all on the subway, there were all men sitting down and all the women were standing. And so I made a really fast TikTok and I said, wow, where are the men? And I got a lot of responses. Oh, this is what you women want. First of all, stop. My father was an incredible man. My uncles are incredible men, my cousins. So for a man to say, well, that's what women want, that is beneath contempt. A real man does what is the right thing, regardless of what society says, regardless of what women want, because women react to men. Men act, women react. So for a man to just give up that power or that duty to act speaks a lot about how successful this whole social engineering project has been. What sort of man says, oh, well, that's what you guys get? No, you're a man. You're a man. You know your duty, regardless of what's going on in society. Why do men stand women? Why does that have to happen? There are many reasons why. First of all, because the woman could be pregnant. You don't know that. She could, in fact, be pregnant. She maybe is not showing. And out of respect and understanding for that biological difference between us, men stand so that a woman can take a seat. What other reason would a man stand so a woman can take a seat? She could be menstruating. There's no way for you to know that. This is a phenomenon that only women go through, and no one's going to share that information. But menstruation is very uncomfortable, a biological process. And so men, understanding the difference between themselves and women, will stand for a woman. Why else would a man stand up? To show that he is the protector, to take his rightful place as the protector of females in this society, in all human society. We have come to these mores and norms and values through millennia of trial and error, blood, sweat, tears. These are not just, very like whimsical processes. Of these norms did not come by because somebody just said, oh, men should stand. No, there are biological reasons why men should stand. There are real reasons why men should stand. We have tried the not standing thing. Societies have broken down. So we have reverted back to respecting men, and men have their place. But for men to give up this duty of theirs, this is why we see going on in society. Do you really think that society would be in this situation if there were strong, noble men with duty, willing and able to do the right thing, regardless of what society says? We wouldn't be in this situation. We wouldn't be here at all. If there were real fathers that would say, you can't teach my children sex, you can't teach my children these concepts, I will not have it, it would stop immediately. But we have no strong men. We have very few men that are willing to stand and do their duty and do the right thing and fulfill their biological obligation and their moral obligation to society, which is to protect, to provide, and to lead. And this is why we're seeing this. Now, to say that there's no faith, there's definitely faith, but people have replaced God with other things, with social movements, with, BLM, or with MAGA, or with Antifa, or with whatever. It's a method of replacement. So it's not that faith is gone, it's just that it's misplaced because of the breakdown of religion, and not, it doesn't have to be religion specifically, but faith in God and understanding that we are a part of something much bigger. And yes, this comes with a duty. When a person says like, oh, I'm a person of faith, faith comes with action. You can't just have empty faith. You can't just say like, I believe, and then do nothing about, the fruits, know them. So a person of faith, you can tell because of the way that they act, the way that they live their lives. But society wouldn't be in this situation, just to reiterate. We would not be anywhere near the situation if we had strong men that were willing, able to get up, stand, and say no more.
That is true.
It's absolutely true, but also it's on everybody though.
It is.
It's on everybody. But yes, the men have a role as well. They have a very large role in it. Of course they do. Of course they do.
And for
men are the head. Men are the heads of their families. They're the heads of
You
of
can't put it all
society.
on.
This is in the good book. This
Yeah, but you can't put it all on them though, because the women, that just says the women are powerless. It doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like
women reflect what men do. We are a direct reflection of the men around us. If you will take a look and you will notice how many angry feminists there are right now, the reason that women are so angry, that is the reflection of the men around them. When men are around them are not providing, protecting, and leading, women naturally become very angry because they're not allowed to fulfill their own duty as women to nurture, to grow, to support. When they have to lead, when they have to provide, when they have to protect themselves and their families, and there's no man around to do that, women become very angry because against nature. We're not being allowed to fulfill our duty, our natural inclination to nurture. So what you have right now is like a lot of these women are angry, and rightfully so. Maybe they are not able to pinpoint it and say, well, I'm angry because every man around me is weak. But that's what's going on. Because it just not even in the good book, just throughout the animal kingdom. Men, the male of the species, is the leader, is the provider, is the protector. And when females are not in a situation where they can have men or males that they can depend on, then things go awry. So all of the men that are allowing their wives to teach their kids, gender fluidity. I went to the bookstore the other day and my friend had to go to the bathroom, so we were in the children's section. There was an entire pillar that was filled with books for kids about transgenderism. And all I could think of was, where are the fathers? If there's a man that allows his wife to teach this to his children, yes, we can blame the woman, absolutely. But more so, we blame the man, because a true father would tell his wife, listen, this isn't happening. This isn't happening here in this household. The men are the head of their households.
I agree with you.
When you see these type of things happening, it's because men are not taking their rightful place, and men need to stand up. Men need to understand their power, their duty, and take the responsibility that is theirs and theirs alone, and put an end to this. Some men say, well, I'm going to let her do it because I can't afford a divorce. I don't want to pay alimony. I don't want to pay child support. So I'm just going to let her run rampant. That's fine. But your kids are going to grow up. In 10 years, 15 years, all of your sins are going to revisit you. Those same children right now that you were allowing your wife to expose to this type of nonsense, those children are going to grow up. They're going to go against you. They're not going to want anything to do with you. And that's best case scenario. I mean, it could get worse. If your wife allows your child to be transitioned, physically transitioned, that child grows up to be an adult and realizes that their mother and their father allowed this to happen to them when they lacked the neurological maturity to make that choice for themselves. It can get a lot worse than that. And we have case studies of that where kids grow up and realize what their parents have done to them, and they react violently. So we are looking at something very dangerous, and men need to stand up and fulfill their duty, period.
I agree with you. Yes.
I get
now
that
I understand what you're
100.
saying. Yes, you're right. But there's definitely a thing in the culture. There's a crazy thing in the culture that's happening, but it's happening on both sides, and it's poisoning people. And
It is, and it's both sides.
it's both sides. It's really, I mean,
I just thought
I'm
about
trying to look at it from a balanced perspective, and I can't go along with you on that. I mean, I do think that men need to do the right thing and they need to be strong. Absolutely. But there's a yin and yang. So the man isn't going to feel like doing that for a woman who acts like that. So if they're acting like that, they get it's the same thing. It's just, think about the other way around.
Well, then we go back.
So we're in a circle of logic.
And why, but we're not. And I'll tell you why. Because a man who is understanding, a man who truly has a connection to his maker isn't doing the right thing because the woman wants him to, or she's going to give him certain favors because he's acting well. No, he does it because it's his duty to God, regardless. So a man of faith doesn't take action because the women around him are going to applaud him or they're going to want him more sexually, or because he's going to get any bells and whistles. He does it out of duty to God, to his maker. That's it.
No, I'll actually use my own. I'll use my own example because I am a genuine person. What I find is my household just falls right into place, and everything, it just works smoothly and awesome because yes, I am a man of God, and I'm not saying it out of no ego, zero ego. I'm a genuine person. Everybody knows it when they meet me too. I mean, a lot of people do. You can tell it when you're talking to somebody who has that. But in response and so because you have that and you get that off, your woman will respond to it. That's what happens. Yes, it's a natural thing that happens, and your woman will go with it. I've seen that, and yes, you're right. It works, and that's what happens, and it's awesome, and that's what needs to happen for everybody.
Well, that's the point. So, but going back to your statement that it's both of them because men don't want to do this. For women who don't appreciate it.
No, I didn't say that. I said the culture, the culture poisons people. It is okay. All of these things are embedded in the culture. They're all product placed, strewn throughout every aspect of society. Okay. All those things. You think
okay. Well, I think if we just go back on the tape, we're going to hear you say, because you did say men don't want to do that when women don't respond to it.
Well,
or when I'm
gonna.
Doing
it doesn't matter. I'm in the moment, and so I'm
it.
not going back on any tape. It doesn't matter. I'm talking right now and communicating what I think.
What I'm addressing in the moment.
I'm communicating what I think
right now.
In
the moment, I'm addressing what you said.
No, I'm communicating what I think right now.
I'm communicating what I'm thinking about what you said.
I'm communicating what I think right now.
And so therefore, in response to what you said, I don't think that it's. Listen, duty has nothing to do with reactions or how do other people react to our fulfilling our duty, or are people going to like the fact that we're fulfilling our duty, or is our woman, is our wife going to appreciate that we are fulfilling our duty? No, duty is an obligation to God.
So
period.
If you are,
it doesn't matter how.
There, I understand what you're saying, and I respect your opinion. I respect everything you come from. Everything you say, we're on it 95%. Where I diverge completely is this thing about it's all on the men. That's not true. There's two sexes here in this world. Okay. And yes, I believe that it goes God before man, man before wife, wife over kids, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how it works. I do understand that's how it works. Yes, but the woman, you can't blame it all on the men. The women are going nuts right now.
Hold on. I want to be. I think I think I'm seeing both of you what you're both saying.
Yeah.
I think I might clarify.
Yeah, because it's off. It's not correct. It's a skewed perspective.
No. What? Okay. So I see your point. Meaning, Rob, that with. Yeah, the men that want to take care of the family and do all the thing you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't want the what you would call a typical angry feminist.
Oh yeah, right. Anger and stuff. That feeling coming from somebody else is just repulsive. So you're not going to attract a guy like that.
Right. No, yeah, I know that. So
you're not going to attract a man like that.
No, I realize that.
Yes.
So, but the problem is with those is that a lot of the ones that are angry do not have, which is what I think you're trying to say, Nadia, is that they don't have, those angry feminists don't have those men that want to take care of the woman anyway.
Yeah, but they got to get their soul right too.
No, they do. I realize that. And I mean, I think we even seen a couple of times we covered where angry feminists then later on turned into loving mother, then the housewife and all that once they realized the peace and they found it. That's where I think you two are miscuing a little here. You're both on the same.
It's like the reading today too, though. But the reading today, you could kind of
that's where I'm
argue.
I'm tying in the whole, because also I see on the man side as well, because I just think about it what's the one song, Fortunate Son. I'm not, and it says I'm not a millionaire's kid. I'm no
senator's son.
No senator's son. That's it. And that was part of a duty, I think. like having to go to like be signing up for the draft, becoming in whatever armed forces, right?
Mhm.
And then that I think is where a little bit may have started. And if you look at that era too, that's where the whole godless part came in. A lot more science stuff came in. And what it did was I think it miscued some men, their mind, and made it go, well, yeah, the whole other phrase, it's okay for a man to cry. Yes, it is. But it's also not okay to be fully of your emotions as a man, which in turn,
Correct.
those ones that are like that seem to attract only the angry feminist. So the angry feminist only sees that, and then that's why they're so angry, because there's no man to step up and be a man to them,
Right.
or lead them.
Guys, get a little bit of
Regardless, men are leaders. As it says, as Rob just said, it's God, man, women, children. It's God, man. Men are leaders. This has to begin with the men. It's not only the men, but it starts with the men. It starts with the men. And if the men are not willing to fulfill their duty to God, what you see is the breakdown of the women and the children and society as a whole. So men do have, it's like a responsibility. So you have the honor of being leaders. You have the honor of doing that, but you also have the obligation, because obligations and rights go hand in hand. You have the right to lead, yes, but then that means you also have the obligation. You can't stand back as a man and say, oh, well, I'll do it when women get their act together, then I'll do my duty. No, your duty as a man becomes the first and foremost. That's your priority, period. It's not when women do this or when society agrees with you or whatever. Your duty as a man is your duty to your maker, period. You are expected to do that. Your maker will ask you, what did you do with what I gave you? And at that point, you're not going to be able to say to God, well, the women in my society weren't really like acclimating, or they didn't really want to hear it. That's not going to work. God's not going to care. You're given a duty. You're given a sole right. And that comes with an obligation. Fulfill your obligation, stand up and lead. And women will reflect that. Society will reflect the way that you act as a man. It will eventually. But if you're waiting for accolades to do the right thing, to do what you're supposed to do, to lead, you're not fulfilling your duty as a man. You're just
sorry.
not.
You're losing me on the logic. You're totally losing me on the logic because the woman has an obligation to work on herself too. So if you have to, it has to be both. It has to be on both sides. It is on both sides.
And she
completely
will.
on both sides.
And she will.
The woman.
The man,
Hold on. Let me think about. Let me just try to say this.
The man sets the standard.
Let me just try to say this. Let me just try to say this, please. All right. So the female, right, has an it's not all about it's yes, I mean, I guess like, dude, there's a lot more going on than you could just say it's just the men. It's not. I'm sorry. That's a breakdown in logic for me. It's equal. There's equal.
I didn't
you
say
have to
it's
take
just
you
the
have to
men.
take control. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. Please let me finish. Please let me finish, please. Please let me finish my thought. So, but there are two
both ways.
There are two people. There are two sexes. You always have to take care of what's in your own house. Okay. If the woman is taking care of herself and she's a good person and she's a spiritual person, but yes, I understand that she will, but she's also going to attract a good man too. In return, if she's a scum, she's going to attract a scum. Well, if there's a bunch of women, right, who isn't going to give any attention or sexual anything or anything at all, or no interest in you. Right. If you're in incel, is that what it is? Or?
I get interest. I would say interest.
You don't have any interest and you're just a troll person and you don't get any play or anything like that. You're going to probably change yourself just like her logic. I'm thinking her logic, but inverted. Just apply it that way. That's why it's faulty.
Because men.
It's both people. Sorry, it's both.
Because again.
Both.
Okay,
people.
Because men.
it's a spiritual hole in the country.
Men who act solely for the attention of women are not men who are in duty to their maker. I'm reiterating this because once again, Men who have that duty to their maker and they've taken upon that mantle to their God, they don't depend on women to give them attention. They understand that their duty has nothing to do with women.
Okay.
Their duty is to God. Duty, and so therefore they will fulfill their duty. They will do the right thing, and society will reflect that. Society, it's a trickle-down situation. Men as leaders, you can't have it both ways. You can't
If you're in a current relationship, this works, but it doesn't work the other way.
Women have to take.
Sorry. If they're in a current relationship, it works.
If you are facing your life as a man at your duty, and you are looking at your life and your duty to God, it's not going to matter whether women give you attention or not. You're going to do your duty by your God, period. Right now, what you're saying is like, well, when men are not given, the proper attention from women, then that changes their behavior.
No,
that's
I used your logic, and I just turned your logic around, inverted.
No, you didn't, because like I said before,
let's move on. We're not gonna find any common ground. Let's just move on.
He doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if women pay attention to him or give him accolades. He's not doing it for women. He's doing it for his God, period. And
I think
that type of society where men are strong and they're duty bound to their maker, that type of society will create good women, strong children, productive societies, civil societies, because it starts with men. God, men, women, children, as you said. So take the lead. You got to take the lead and do your duty by your God if you expect society to change.
I'm looking at it in a more physical way, and I think I understand it. Think of it: you're on rock climbing, right? And somebody at the top is the anchor, like you anchored in whatever the rope. Well, without that proper anchor, right, everything else falls. So if the man doesn't have that connection with God, then there is no way for him to lead, which in turn won't turn the woman to want to lead, want to follow and want to lead.
To follow. Exactly.
I think you're right. Yes.
I see that.
Spot on.
Because it has to happen in the household, and regardless, maybe you're not in the. You're right, because I was thinking about it more like single people.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about the current family. Like if you're in a current family and you want to get to making a healthy family, that would be the way. And it, regardless of where you are, because it could be.
I think it's across the board.
I think it's both, though. I want to put it a little. I think it's across the board.
Whether you're single, exactly.
Yeah,
whether you're single or married, it doesn't matter.
I still think that
is their duty to God.
I still think you're saying the men need to do everything. The women are gonna.
No, hold on. That's not the point.
First, men have to do it first. Men have to do it first. They're leaders. They're natural leaders.
No, that's crazy. Okay, you know what? Let's move on. Let's please, out of respect, let's move on, because we're not gonna. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna agree with you. I'm not, because I'm a leader. And I disagree with you.
That's why our society is.
Let's move on. I disagree with you. Let's move on, woman. Hold on.
Men don't want to take their duty.
Okay, let's go.
Why are you yelling at me? I'm your guest. It's not very.
I'm not.
You're not being a very good host, Rob. You're actually not.
Okay.
But you know what, guys?
For criticizing me. It's okay. You're right. I'm not a good host. You're right.
It's been a pleasure. But my hour is up. It's been a real pleasure. I want to thank you guys so much for your time. It was great. And happy 4th of July.
No problem. We're going to continue the conversation, obviously. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining.
One, guys.
Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it. And yeah, you can just pop off.
Enjoy your 4th of July.
Enjoy your 4th. Let me try to find the way to hang her up. Oh, there we go. Let me put the background. I'm sorry. I have to go ahead and. You know what? At the same time, I got to use her same logic on her, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you saw the faulty logic, dude. You saw it.
No, I see it on both sides, and
you see mine. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Tell me how I'm not seeing it.
I don't think you're seeing it, or maybe it was not explained. Not saying she didn't explain it good, not maybe the right way for you to grasp it. Right?
Yes.
So that's why I'm trying to use that picture of like climbing on a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So the man The first one up there.
She just said men have to lead, and then she yelled at me and then hung up the phone.
I realize
That's the height of hypocrisy.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, well,
so
hold on,
that's
hold on,
not
hold on.
okay. Anyway,
Yeah. So either way, without the man, which if you want to call it God or knowledge, and then somebody teaching you how when you're at the top of a mountain how you're supposed to anchor in that point.
yes, I understand her.
Right.
Dude, listen,
Well,
listen. Do you understand how? Remember how we talked about the denominations and how if you're not practicing what you preach, I'm not
Correct.
going to listen to you.
So
Do you understand?
right. So
Okay. When you're coming at me, or you're talking,
But that same, yeah.
and you're saying that your point is right. You're coming from a point of you're taking away the point you're trying to make by you just being you and talking.
Oh, I realized that because I said this 2 days ago or 3 days. Wait, 3. I'm sorry, I can't remember now. A few days ago. Are you trying to be right or
yes,
helpful?
she's trying to be right. She's
Now-
not trying to be helpful. She didn't want to go with the flow, and she got mad, and then she hung up. And I didn't yell at her, and I have no anger. I have zero anger. Put her on the list of today's prayer. Because we need to say it.
Yeah.
As soon as we started, she was talking about how we wrote her name on here.
I know that as well.
Dude, that criticism and things like that is not of God.
Well, no, I did ask earlier on her like background with Catholicism, whatever.
And that anger, that energy is not going to get a man. Sorry, Nadia. You're not going to get a man with that energy. Look what you did. Look how you acted just now. You stormed off. Your energy is, sorry, it's horrible. It's horrible energy. And I'm glad you're off because now I'm chilling and I'm relaxed and I don't have that disgusting, angry female energy. That's angry energy. And the people that I surround myself with, the women I know, are not like that, by the way. They're very nice and they're very nurturing, just so you know. They're very nurturing.
I would have to say I agree on my end too. Like,
oh my God, like it's like a hurricane of insanity. It just left.
No,
right?
But yeah.
And I feel so much better now.
It's funny because what I'm seeing on the I feel as maybe a full neutral party watching you do,
yes,
per se.
Right.
You were both using very similar, if not the same logic on each other to the point of where it was also like, how can I put it? It was comical a little
I'm
bit.
never going to blame the woman, dude. I'm not going to blame the woman because I don't want to look like her doing that. Because that's what that looks like. She looks angry blaming the man. She looks like an angry feminist, what she doesn't like. It's a hypocritical thing.
That's where I was going with the rock.
And I would have said this to her face if she stayed on.
Well, that's what I was saying, going with the rock climbing thing, both when all of us were on and now.
Right.
Like, yeah, you need to have that anchor point, and then the man has to be there.
And I'm the anchor point in this conversation. I'm the anchor point.
Yeah,
and she didn't go with it. It said it in the Bible,
right? I know
before,
that.
And I was hoping she would get it. I was like, "Do you got anything?" That's why I was chuckling when I was saying you got. Because it was like literally go with the flow of Bobby, Rob, whatever you want to call me.
Right. Well, hold on. That's where I'm still getting with that whole thing of it. It's that if I'm just putting it like this, imagine you are on that rope there and you're hanging, but you have the woman down there saying, well, that's not right. I don't think that's right. Are you sure you're doing it right? What is wrong with you? Why are
no? Because I don't listen. I don't listen. Well, yeah.
I know you don't listen.
I don't listen.
But what I'm saying is, when you have that, right, then you have that man who's gonna sit there and start second guessing, and now you're taking away from the whole God point.
No. I know. Oh my God.
Which is where I think I can connect.
And that's why, honestly, that's why I'm not on Insta. That's why I'm not have thousands of followers, and she does. Because it's a faulty logic that they allow, the Satan logic in there. It has a little bit of right, but then enough wrong where it makes it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't come with that energy. If you're going to come with that angry energy, then accusing me of being angry, I'm not angry.
I mean, I just didn't. I'm just
saying. I'm just like JLP says. If something's wrong, you voice disagreement to it. Yeah. You're allowed to do that.
Well, that's what
an angry feminist usually does is they'll immediately say that that's anger in you, and it's not.
Well, what's really even funnier about that was, okay, we need to take charge and need to lead, right?
Right. But you listen to me. Crazy. Anyway, let's move on. So, do you want to hear any of her other stuff? Like, I pulled some of her stuff. Let's listen to it.
We can, yeah.
Here's what she says on abortion.
All right.
Started by women like Susan B. Anthony, who believed that American women had a purpose instead of actually having one. I wonder what Susan B. Anthony would think of y'all today. God bless America. You know what's ironic? The feminist movement in the U.S. was started by women like Susan B. Anthony, who believed that American women were intelligent and responsible enough to be trusted with rights and freedoms. But American feminists today seem to think that American women are too stupid and too irresponsible to even prevent an unwanted pregnancy. But we can be trusted to run the country, right? Roe v. Wade passed on January 22, 1973, striking down the Texas ban on abortion for being unconstitutional. By the way, it was struck down by a Supreme Court made up of 9 men. So all you women screeching that men don't have a right to make laws that govern your body, do better. Anyhow, there weren't many effective methods of birth control back then. Women had no agency, and women who were sexually assaulted were rarely, if ever, believed. Jump to post-Me Too 2022, when women are not only believed, we're encouraged and empowered to speak out. When Supreme Court justices can't even define what a woman is because they're not biologists. When there are over 250 different types of birth control pills on the market with 99% effectiveness. When there are IUDs both with and without hormones that are over 99% effective. When, as a last resort, there's Plan B with over 87% effectiveness if taken within 72 hours after having unprotected sex. Unlike in 1973, birth control today is abundant, effective, cheap, and accessible in the US. Instead of just avoiding pregnancy like an intelligent, responsible adult, you're demanding a right to kill viable fetuses as a form of birth control. But why? I'll tell you why. Because Pfizer just released the data on its vaccines, and it's not good. Because your government is sending trillions to Ukraine while our economy is tanking. Because you're hypocrites that don't understand that you lost your right to scream "my body, my choice" when you also supported mandating an experimental drug nationwide. And because you're too lazy to shut off your television and think for yourselves. You prefer a distraction from the real threats. Those are just too scary. So you blindly repeat a narrative that gives you the feeling of purpose instead of actually having one. I wonder what Susan B. Anthony would think of y'all today. God bless America.
I like the I like it, but you got to practice what you preach.
You know, though, that is the thing. Everybody has their... meaning everybody will fall short no matter who
Right.
they are.
The hypocrite thing, we're all hypocrites. That's the takeaway is even the person making that video is a hypocrite. Yeah. Everybody's a hypocrite.
We're even hypocrites.
We're hypocrites. I'm a hypocrite. I'm the biggest hypocrite there is. But, you know, I am. Absolutely. Oh, my God. Total.
No, I mean, I'm just putting it out.
Total hypocritical, idiotic. You know, I wish I could use the R word.
Sometimes, illogical.
Yeah, I try to be logical.
No, but you become illogical.
I gotta become illogical.
I don't know. I like that. But no, for real, like everybody.
Not so much. Yeah, I mean the energy was just it was thrown off and it was on one side. It was thrown off energy and it was on one side. And in her the things she talks about doesn't seem to match up. I'm not trying to be hard on her though. No, you know, yeah. I love everybody. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not gonna. You know, I love everybody. You can have an off day too. Anyway, you probably have an off day. So I disagree with her on this too. You know what? Let's just disagree with her on stuff. I'm gonna play another one that I disagree with her on. Here, look.
Brett to human society is no hero. He's just a globalist head case with the resources and the following to end us all. Oh yeah, and God bless America. Elon Musk now owns Twitter, and some of you think this is a really good thing, but it's not. Elon Musk isn't your savior. He's a globalist and supports the New World Order. If you didn't know this by now, you haven't been paying attention because he said it like 1,000 times. On February 14th, 2017, day 2 of the World Government Summit in Dubai, Musk warned that AI could potentially become a threat to human society and that governments should keep an eye on it. Meaning that they should control it. Meaning that he should create it and we should all pay him for it. But after warning of the dangers of AI, Musk then revealed the Tesla robot in August of 2021, a humanoid machine that would do exactly what Musk warned it would, replace human labor. To be clear, Musk warned of a threat, then created the threat. This is called gaslighting. Musk also said that working in the future would be a choice, as everyone will get a living wage for just, living. But what about legacy, meaning, and purpose in life? Musk said that the answer to that would be to merge biological and digital intelligence. Funny, that's exactly what Klaus Schwab said. But how will this be done? Through a company that Musk owns called Neuralink. But no one's explaining how this merger will give anyone purpose, meaning, or joy. However, what needs no explanation is the fact that if your brain and your digital extension are merged, your access to information, money, and communication can all be controlled and even denied. And no one's pointing out that this would lead to another globalist pet project: depopulation. Do you see it yet? After all, if AI replaces human labor, and if everyone gets a living wage, then cutting costs means getting rid of people. And who gets to make that choice? Betas like this guy? Yeah, okay. Revenge of the Nerds wasn't a documentary, guy. Relax. If all of this sounds crazy, keep in mind that Musk also said that we must colonize Mars to save humanity. I could go on, but why spoil the ending? Do your research and you'll see for yourself. Elon Musk is no hero. He's just a globalist head case with the resources and the following to end us all. Oh yeah, and God bless America.
Being a social commentator is must be exhausting.
I mean, I see what she's trying to say on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I would have totally
words,
disagreed with her on that because of the powerful executive is needed. Once again, it goes against what we're talking about, actually, in a weird way.
But I guess, how can I put it? I can see it through her lens of perception.
Right. But
do I believe it or trust in that ideal? No. Like, okay, obviously, him being a CEO of Tesla and the corporate, obviously, yes, he's probably somewhat tied to the globalist. I can't deny that.
What, you don't think they're going to give him a phone call and try to like
that's what I'm saying.
Work things?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure he has his ties to it.
Being a strong man,
that doesn't mean
being a strong executive.
Mm-hmm.
You have the power to do a lot of bad things if you really want to.
Oh yeah, you could.
What makes you good is the fact that you don't act on them. And when you're in those positions of power, believe it or not, some people maintain. Look at the saints that we have.
That's true.
Look at Pio.
Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of different. I mean, there's just a lot of people, I believe, who are in power or were in power,
right?
That could not be bought because, and they're not ignorant per se on my end, but I mean they can't be bought. I mean, it just
right.
They're independent. They're the independent executive. And
maybe Ilan is the Antichrist.
No, because that goes against the theory that the Antichrist, once he rises, you will not know him. Meaning he will rise. When he rises and he's at the top of the tower, like has all the power, that's when it's too late.
Really?
Yeah. So in other words, him being right now just a Tesla CEO and potential Twitter mass shareholder, whatever, he's already been in the news enough. He's already known. So the theory of that would be flawed on that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see where you went with that, and I'm not going to lie to you. The reason why I just started following Elon Musk or supporting a lot of his thing, not because of Twitter, but because I really did think for a little bit, he might have been the Antichrist. I really did. When Tesla first started and then SpaceX, I'm like, who the hell is this dude? Like, before, what? Where was he in the news before Tesla and then, SpaceX was pretty soon after the news hit a lot of that. I'm like, what? No, this must be the Antichrist. Oh, no, he's not. He hasn't.
How do you know?
I don't believe he is because he hasn't reached any actual power.
We'll see what happens, man. Maybe he is. We'll see what happens.
Who knows? And you know what?
Maybe she's on to something. Who knows?
But this is the whole point.
Maybe we're wrong. Maybe she knows.
You have to trust. You have to trust in whatever you believe.
But I have a theory, and my theory is that the executive has a role there also. But we'll see.
Definitely.
We'll see.
Definitely.
You know, he could be. But that's the thing, though. He's the person's tricking people. Elon kind of tricks people.
He could
doesn't
be.
he?
I mean, they're the very good.
And he's sliding into power. He's actually sliding in. He's buying a social media company.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah, dude. Maybe she's right. Maybe she's right. All right, so here's the next one about snowflakes.
Me.
5 things your mother should have taught you, but apparently didn't. Number 1, nobody cares. If you're lucky, your parents and your family care. A lot. If not, that's kind of too bad, but it's not uncommon. You're not special. And plenty of really good people have come from very tough beginnings. If you're super lucky, you also have friends who care. But that depends on the company that you keep, and also how well you care about them in return. And if you're super duper lucky, your spouse and your children care. But again, that depends a lot on your choices. As far as the rest of the world, we're busy, so no, we don't really care. Number 2, you're not special. This isn't the you show. The world existed long before you got here, and it will continue to exist long after you're gone. Think of all the great people that came before you. Are you even close to matching their efforts? If not, relax. Respect is a two-way street, and if you give it, you're more likely to receive it. However, don't expect others to bow to your whims, because nobody owes you anything. It's you that has to learn to get along here, because there's plenty of us and there's only one of you, so don't forget to say please and thank you. Number 3, life isn't fair. It's never been fair, and it will never be fair. There are no safe spaces, and if this is news to you, someone lied. Every living thing faces adversity, and if you're a living thing, that means you too. We can try to make it fairer, but it's never going to be perfect because none of us are perfect, including you. Number 4, even if it's not your fault, it's still your responsibility. As an adult, you're still responsible for getting yourself on track, no matter what's happened to you or who was at fault. Our lives are a direct result of our actions, and if you don't act to improve your life, then you have only yourself to blame. Of course, no man is an island, and we all need each other to get ahead, which brings me to number 5, you must earn your place here. In life, there are no participation trophies, and our only value is in what we have to offer. What do you bring to the table for your family, your community, and the world? Do you pull your weight and lift others up? Or do you drag everyone down with your constant demands and incessant need for validation? Because if you're not part of the solution, you're the problem. And the last thing we need around here is another problem. You're welcome. God bless America.
Hold on, I gotta say these two.
God
things.
bless America. What?
You have to earn. What was that last? That earn your keep or earn your value, whatever it was. Like
Yes.
Okay, and then you have to so earn your keep. How would I say it like that?
You had to give respect, show respect. You have to give respect to show respect.
So where did that fall in line completely with that? It's just one-sided, meaning like it's always both. I always feel like there's two sides. There's always two things.
There's two sides, dude. There's two sides. She was angry.
She's
angry at men for some reason.
That's where I'm.
I don't know why. She's
now.
angry. She's living in New York, dude. I should have said that to her.
And that's
she said you're living in New York. That's why you're angry.
You didn't catch
what?
that. Oh,
that is why, dude. I lived there.
You didn't catch that when I said that to her. Then you
say it.
When I said that, I was like, look, if an angry feminist is surrounded by just those men who don't want to be men, of course they're going to be mad because no man is going to stand up around them because they don't keep men in their company.
She's thinking also, this is another thing that happens with New Yorkers. And this happens a lot. I wish I could have told her that because I wanted to. I like trying to get people out of the thing they're in.
Yeah.
Because everybody is in something.
Their own perception.
They're in their own, and she's definitely locked into something. And so part of that thing, though, I understand it, is being in the bubble of New York. You get to like this, and I'm not saying that this is how she thinks. I'm not saying at all. But there's a lot of people there think like very superior about how they are. Like it's just crazy. They think they're smarter than the rest of the country. All these things, like, because because there's a lot going on there. A lot of important people go there, and they think that importance goes off on their ego too. I get what you mean. And also they don't get out of there enough. So you actually like, wow, this is a person who doesn't actually leave New York City a lot. So because you really get trapped into that bubble thought. And so, because we know, we're not going to beat the dead horse, but there are different bubbles of thought. And being a Floridian, which she said she's from Miami,
Very
She
similar,
understands. I'm sure she understands the difference.
But I think it's similar.
I'm sure she'll probably even say that she thinks like that. Maybe.
Maybe. I see that. I mean, just because you're in the same,
But
just
when
because you went to Central Park where, Donald Trump or some other famous person may have been, doesn't mean you have the same notoriety.
When I worked there, when I worked and lived there, I waited on people, because I was a Verizon employee, and so I actually waited on famous people.
Yeah, you shared a few stories. On here. About
Yes. James Gandolfini. Right before he died.
Wow. Oh, that I gotta say that's a cool thing.
No, but I didn't personally wait on him. What happened was I was in the back, underneath,
doing something.
I don't know, plugging in a phone, and then I heard his voice.
Oh wow!
And because it was in the back where you fix your phone, and I got up and he was there and he was getting his phone fixed.
That's cool.
The tech support area.
No,
I was standing back there,
Hey, I always think it's cool, no matter
But it was right before he died, dude.
Yeah,
right before. I worked on Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at 100 Wall Street. That was the address of Verizon Wireless. You look it up, and I worked there for a year, full year. Up there, you work in a zone. It was zone 3.
Oh, okay, I get what you mean by that. Yeah,
I forgot what zone Manhattan was, where she lives in Manhattan. So you would get traded to different stores.
Yeah, within that zone.
They would trade you every 3, 6 a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? You get a trade. You go into this store.
Okay.
So I worked at Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at Union Square.
Okay.
For about a year.
Mm-hmm.
More, maybe, actually. I worked at Madison Avenue. I worked at 5th Street hold on. Madison Avenue. I worked in Penn Station. But Penn Station was different. Penn Station was not a Verizon. It was a different. It was a wholesaler.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They just sell Verizon wireless, but they're their own
authorized retailer.
They're an authorized retailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how that was my first job when I moved there. I was managing that little store in Penn Station. So I know a thing or two about living in New York and stuff, but you get a certain mindset when you live there. A kind of snobby. It's a snobby intellectualism where you think that you're superior intellectually to other people, but you're not.
I see that with people who I met from New York, fresh from New York, just moved, or even, let's say, in some parts of in other big cities. You see it. You see it in bigger cities that no matter can you imagine how
it's good at some point to get out of there, to do your time like it's a prison sentence? Because now I understand it, and I can talk to a person from New York, and I can actually go "Hey,
this is
You know what I'm saying? It's throw the. If I said that to them, she'd be like, "Pew." She'd be like,
yeah.
If she stayed on,
but
she would have been like, boom.
People all choose their own path,
right?
And did you? A little logic on you, not your logic, but logic.
I like using it to them, though.
I know. You have to choose your path. You can't choose somebody else's. To try to grade them.
I know. I'm not. You're right. I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm not telling anybody anything.
Oh no, I know.
I know nothing. Here's what she says on Trump, and I would agree with this. Look at this.
Words and your actions align. That's called integrity. It means you're honest and can be trusted. If not, then your credibility is shot. No one can believe you when you can't even keep your own story straight. I speak truth to power. So this is me keeping my story straight and sticking to my guns. I was a great supporter of President Trump. He created sound policy in his first 3 years in office. He showed courage and seemed like a leader who was willing to take the establishment head on. But then 2020 happened, and an experimental drug was created in record time and pushed upon the American people against their will. Trump wasn't against this. He took credit for it, and often. When asked, he recommended vaccinations. This alarmed me, but like many of his supporters, I made excuses for him, saying that he was probably playing the long game until after the election. But then he lost. Again, like most Trump supporters, I believe that Biden would destroy the nation and that this would finally unite the American people to realize that Trump had been right about the swamp all along. While Biden's definitely destroying our country, I no longer trust Trump. Trump has continued to speak at rallies and on the media, but his narrative has changed. He calls himself the, quote, father of the vaccine because I'm the one that pushed it. A vaccine that stripped millions of Americans of their rights and caused massive job losses, while making trillions for drug companies and their shareholders. In fact, Trump recently brought his, quote, friend Woody Johnson of Johnson & Johnson onto the stage at a rally in Pennsylvania, proudly claiming, quote, this guy's got cash like nobody's got cash, while millions of Americans face economic collapse. Trump also endorsed Dr. Oz, a snake oil salesman if there ever was one. The same Dr. Oz that lauded chip technology on his show. The same chip technology that's being pushed by globalists like Klaus Schwab. Do you see it yet? The truth hurts, but lies kill. They're all complicit. There are no good guys here. I said this when I published Politica in 2015, and I'm still saying it today because obviously we haven't learned our lesson. Until we are willing to accept the truth and speak it, until we are willing to call them out by name no matter who they are, we don't stand a chance. I'm sticking to my guns. Are you? God bless America.
God bless America. I love that she. I wish I could have asked her why she does that and stuff, and about her veteran. You know.
Yeah. Didn't get into like.
Didn't get any of that stuff. Oh well.
No, kind of got focused on the one thing.
Yeah, because I don't care about ego stuff. I'm not going to sit here and ask people about their. You know, oh, how'd you, what'd you think about this? You want to play this? No, I want to see what you really think and how you really interact.
And
it exposed it immediately. The hypocrisy. Pretty quick.
But, yeah.
Anyway, so let's move on.
Bad news, right? Or you want to move on?
Was that bad news?
I mean, I kind of.
That was already kind of bad news.
It already was. We didn't really.
Let's stay in good news because let's finish it.
Well, then hold on.
No. Well, you want to give it a proper? Okay.
Just to reiterate.
Yeah. You know what? So Shia, I got it right up here, man.
Oh yeah.
Can you see it? Hold on.
Not yet.
There.
Yeah. All the way at the top.
See that? All the way at the top? Boom. That is Padre MFN Pio. I've actually been there, dude. I've been to Petrolcina. He is Pio of Petrolcina. Okay. Mm-hmm. My cousin Lorenzo took me to there. And we went to go see his,
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. I've seen all that. I've been to Lake Rotundo or something like that. Right around there. But yeah, Shia LaBeouf is going to play, get this, Padre Pio.
Yeah. Wow.
Isn't that awesome? I'm looking forward to that. I know that you said you're not very impressed with his acting or whatever. You told me.
He's just nothing. He's a generic Phil actor to me.
Friends, I had the opportunity to extend a screening of Padre Pio. Dude, they're already at a screening stage?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I think it comes out, they said it's September or something like that. I read.
Oh, nice.
A new biopic of an extraordinary life of Saint Pio of Petrolcina, played by Shia LaBeouf. Shia and I met while he was living among the Capuchins in preparation for the role. It was delightful to see him again at the screening. Padre Pio, pray for us.
Nice.
Here's a couple of videos about it. Hold on.
Heard Father Victor's doing another come and see retreat. Ooh. April 1st through the 3rd, huh? Yup. I tell you what, he's a big part of my catechism. I came to him with all my stupid questions. Well, not stupid questions, just ignorant questions, What do you mean an 800-year-old woman? What are you talking about? She became pregnant. What do you mean her dude got blind? Wait a minute, explain, man. What do you mean a dude and a whale? Huh? Virgin birth? Wait, what? And he was like, listen, man, the Bible's not just a book. I was like, do tell, Father Victor. And he was like, let me tell you, dude. The Bible isn't just one book, it's a library. I was like, He's like, when you walk into a library, there's a couple of different sections in a library, right? You got different genres in a library, right? You got the biography section, you got the comic book section, you got the textbook section, you got the English section, you got the French section, you got the this section and that section. He's like, He's like, that's what the Bible's like, dude. Mind blown. And other God shots and more to come at Father Victor's Come and See retreat. Go get him. Bang, bang. Love you. God bless.
Some pictures also. He's living amongst them to learn the role. The monks.
Well, that makes the most sense, honestly.
Of course.
It makes a lot, yeah.
Of course. So he doesn't probably truly believe in it. I mean, he just adopts the persona, you know, and just goes along with it because he understands on a sociopathic level that people are just attracted to groups and scenes, really.
I think it's like
and that's what Catholicism is too. It's all everything is. Politics is just groups and scenes anyway.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
So he just an actor just knows that. I mean, they know about the human animal. They understand it. Look at that picture of a Padre. That's him as Padre, dude.
That's awesome.
That's cool, man. Right? Here's another video, really quick. Follow up.
I'm Shia LaBeouf. I'm completely immersed in something way bigger than myself. I don't know if I've ever met a group of men as immersed in anything in my life. It's super attractive to see people give themselves to something so divine, and it's heartwarming to know that that there's a brotherhood like this that exists. I've been met with nothing but grace since I've been here. I'm so honored to meet you guys.
Thank you, Shia. Tell us a little bit about the project that you're working on.
We're making a film. Me, Abel Ferrer, and Willem Dafoe are making a movie called Padre Pio, about the great Padre Pio, and we're trying to get as close to the accurate depiction of what it's like to be a friar as possible, and try to get as close to like the human, tangible, tactile relationship that this man had with Christ, and bringing the good news to the world.
Thank you, Shia. God bless you.
Basically, he's able to see through other people's lens of perception and understand it.
Right.
So that if that's sociopathic, then what am I?
Well, no, it's not sociopathic. I mean, it's an element of understanding that, like,
not sociopathic.
You got it's part of like being able to jump in and out of the bubbles and things like that, and knowing all that stuff. And that's
more so.
People don't understand.
Okay, yeah.
People just don't understand things, man.
I heard
they're you know, they don't leave where they're from, and they don't travel enough. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they're only exposed to the one thing, and they believe that that's the ultimate truth of everything, which is very misleading. Obviously, I mean, now it's okay to be half naked in front, or even naked in front of a child.
Oh my God! Did you see that? Wait, we're not in the bad news yet. I know, but calm down.
Well, because
we're still talking about Shia LaBeouf and being in Padre Pio. Okay, you got anything about that?
You know, I actually would be interested to watch the movie. I still will watch him. He's just not my most favorite, I guess. But yeah,
you'll still watch it.
I'll watch it. I think because I see he put a lot of effort into it, and I respect that. Like, he's living with the monks and all this. Like, I mean, when somebody prepares that much, you know, you have a good feeling that it's gonna be pretty good. Like, it's gonna really depict it. You know, kind of like they talk about with other movies, like Goodfellas, how much the gangsters liked it, the mobsters liked it,
right?
Because it was pretty accurate. So that makes me think that somebody must have been really into that life. Gave them the inside info.
So one more time about, like, I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Okay.
But the thing about the do Catholics worship Mary keeps on coming up. This is a TikTok video. I wonder if it's gonna be cut off.
Oh boy, here we
wonder if it's gonna be cut off. It says Catholics worship Mary on there. That's what it says.
Who told you that?
Yeah. Who told you that? Who told you that? And then the comments. Jesus is the only mediator between man and God, not anyone. That's what one of the comments says. In a way, we do worship Mary we've dedicated the month of Mary to her. We pray to her, and through her, she is our mother and the mother of our God. We do worship her. Somebody says. Underneath that, I think this is the person who posted it.
I think so.
Say, no, we do not. And if we do, we go to hell. Read the catechism. We give Mary hyperdulia, high honor and veneration for what she did by and because of Christ. But latria, adoration, which is worship, and our highest honor belongs only to God. Can you finish that up while I take some honey?
Yeah. To God.
Or I'll finish it.
Oh, wait.
To God. Belongs only to God, on pain of mortal sin. Worshipping Mary was the heresy of the Coleridians. She is not divine, but our model of how to serve the divine. We only pray through Mary to intercede for us, to her son Jesus, the Son of God. That's what somebody else says. And then here's another card right here. Just trying to get the insights of the real people, man.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Can you read that?
Can she? No, she
can't hear us like at Fatima.
Yeah, Fatima.
Fatima. What's Fatima? You don't know where Fatima is?
No, I do. It's from Spain. Where Portugal was, right? Where the three kids.
Well, I don't actually know. I think it's France. No.
I'm not sure. I know it's where the three young children saw.
No, maybe that's Lourdes, but it's just, it's just where they saw the
they
I'm actually not I'm not clear on where it is either. So.
I'm not sure where it is. La Salente or Guadalupe, and then angelic, true. The only way to the Father is through Christ. False. She did not have other kids. Do more research here. False. Mary can intercede just like you pray for others, or others ask you to pray for them. I'm sure you'll agree that the best person to ask to pray for is one filled with the Holy Spirit. There is no person more full of the Holy Spirit than Christ's mother. It sets her apart, overshadows her, impregnates her. Who else can you say this about? She is unique. At the Annunciation, the angel addressed her title as Hail Full of Grace. More precisely translated, she who is completed in grace. The point of Christ dying was to prove the grace. Provide the grace, sorry. Mary cannot do that. He is the pinnacle. Mary wants nothing more than to lead you to him. A servant of God through and through, in life and after it. Everything she does is for love, as love is what she knows. Love was her father, her son, and her divine spouse. And then the next one are a community. We are a community. We are a community here to love and help each other. Don't know about you, but I need other people for many things. Sometimes I need other people to pray for me. Nobody better to pray for you than Christ's mother, who was with him all the way through his suffering.
So a lot of Catholics I found have the same ridiculous logic that I do. It's the same. It's already thought out. It's probably in the catechism. It's probably written in there. The same thing. Logically, I'm coming to the conclusion. I mean, I said that.
You said that before even having the catechism, and you said that before really you dove into.
If you really truly believe we all are spirits, because like when you have a really close family member, let's say you have a really close family member and they pass away, really, are they gone? Really, that's how you want to say it. Like if you're a Christian, you really don't feel like they're with you.
I don't like that.
Like that. So I don't understand. Then you're passing judgment on people who are praying to Mary, but we're just. It's like. Our spirit is communicating with her spirit. And she's saying, and we're saying, can you just, it's a Hail Mary, like a Hail Mary pass.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do it.
No, you don't. I mean,
You don't have to do it.
no.
I don't even do it. I don't do it that much. If it's, if they're doing it, I'll do it.
Right. If it's,
You know what I'm saying? It's a Hail Mary. It's not necessary. We don't say it in the Mass. We don't say the Hail Mary in the Mass. We say the Our Father in the Mass.
that is very true.
Yeah. The Hail Mary is just a thing that's done in a meditative way on the rosary,
mantra.
with the rosary.
Yeah, it's another mantra, and the rosary is is another.
It's a mantra. It's
no,
meditation plus spirituality
it's just like the
equals
incense.
peace.
It's just like the incense that they burn to meditate that long.
Right.
The rosary is just the timekeeper, per se.
Mhm. Yep.
Each bead, whatever.
Right. Yep.
Same thing.
So I thought that was interesting. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's
All right. Let's
like
get into
it.
bad news, dude. Bad news.
all right.
Bad news time. So I'll just go in order, I guess. What do I have? Do I have any links? Get those links out of the way.
All right.
Oh, just one link. Good. Let me get it out of the way. I had two news stories about Shia LaBeouf,
Mm-hmm.
playing in Padre Pio and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanted to. I guess I don't know. Do we want to know that?
Well, we went over.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. We went over it.
I mean,
They know.
Yeah. I don't think
guess.
we need to go back to
All
it.
right. All right. So, New York governor to require 3 years of social media history for gun carry permit. I would have loved to read this and
Yeah, that's
asked her what she thought about this. Shit. Sorry. I mean, S. New York Governor Kathy Hochul once again signed sweeping gun legislation. I think she just wanted like me to interview her. Maybe I don't know, but that's egotistical. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just join into the flow.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, now that you think of it, or say it, I mean,
Right.
I think that's maybe I think there might be a miscommunication on that.
No, why? I mean, why?
Or a misconception. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just
Like a
asked. I just.
idea.
Well, that's your. She asked if, for the link to the show. So if she looked at it, she'd know.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
But maybe I should tell people more. I'll tell people that this is what I do.
Me,
This is what I'll explain it.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I guess we're still learning.
I wanted her on here because I thought it was interesting that she wears the obviously Catholic.
Yeah.
And then, and talks about a lot of similar things that we talk about.
A
So
lot of similar things.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul once again signed sweeping gun legislation into law on Friday that created several severe new restrictions on obtaining a gun in the state, including drastically increasing concealed carry regulations and requiring applicants to turn over social media history. Wow.
Oh, what the?
According to the legislation, part of Hochul's new criteria to obtain a concealed carry permit will be an applicant giving the government a list containing 3 years of history of the current and inactive social media accounts. What?
And inactive?
Applicants must also have 16 hours of firearm training.
Okay.
Provide 4 character references and list the contact information for domestic partners of adults of any kind they live with. See this?
Okay.
Potential applicants will also be required to show good moral character, meaning the essential character, temperament, and judgment necessary to be entrusted with a weapon and to use it only in a manner that does not endanger oneself and others. At a press conference regarding the new legislation, Hochul said, "We are creating a definitive list of sensitive locations where individuals will not be able to carry firearms. This list includes schools, summer camps, libraries, daycares, parks, playgrounds, places children gather, theaters, museums, entertainment venues, places of worship for religious observation, polling places, educational institutions, and health medical facilities. Federal, state, local government buildings, homeless and domestic violence shelters, places where alcohol is consumed, restaurants, bars, public transportation, subway buses, airports, and public demonstration and rallies in Times Square.
Hold on here. Wow. Has anybody realized something that she just
where hold on, where can you carry it? That's what I want to know. She
eliminated everywhere from what I know of New York, just the idea of New York.
I want to know where you can carry it.
I mean, she really nailed everywhere. Wait, I haven't seen a lake yet. Oh, wait, no. Places children gather, which could be like a lake or a river.
Another new rule is a default of no concealed carry on private property and businesses unless deemed permissible by property owners. Hochul said of this law, we are making no open carry the default position for private businesses. That means that any business, grocery store, retail, private home, place that wants to allow guns on their premises will have to demonstrate that and establish that they put a sign out there that says concealed carry guns are welcome here. Whoa.
I mean,
so they're making the business owner actually put a sign out there in order for it to be legal for you to even carry your gun into my shop.
Yeah.
What? I got to notify you. I got to notify the public that it's okay. First off. Interesting. That is such a dude. I'm so happy I don't live in New York. Cause dude. Yeah. Nadia, this is the kind of guys that you get up there.
That are going to agree with this and be like, oh, this is so great. No, I'm kidding.
Move out of there and then you won't have the problem.
Basically.
According to the Associated Press, Republican lawmakers were incensed and commented on the unconstitutional nature of the New York gun laws and predicated again they'd be struck down. Of course.
I mean,
the state GOP said the legislation not only violated the Second Amendment, but also privacy and free speech rights. The new legislation comes hot on the heels of the Supreme. So, dude, the Supreme Court just did this. God. But I guess
they're going to have to revisit it because
but they're doing it again.
Aren't
they doing the same thing that they did? Because what they did was it came. Hold on, you know what? Do you want to see what she says?
What do you mean? Oh yeah. Let's hear what she says.
In preparation of an extraordinary session, my team has been working with our partners to craft gun safety legislation, and as a result of our quick work and collaboration with my partners, again, Majority Leader Andre Stewart-Cousins, Speaker Carl Heastie, our state will continue to keep New Yorkers safe from harm, even despite this setback from the Supreme Court. So minutes ago, maybe probably an hour ago now, the Senate passed our proposed bill by a vote of 43-20. I've outlined a couple days ago, I outlined our conceptual agreements, but we've been fine-tuning through the night, but now that they're about to become law, I want to go through them again. We are creating a definitive list of sensitive locations where individuals will not be able to carry firearms. Common sense. Schools, summer camps, libraries, daycares, parks, and playgrounds, places children gather. Theaters, museums, entertainment venues, places of worship or with religious observation, polling places, educational institutions, and health and medical facilities. Federal, state, local government buildings, homeless and domestic violence shelters, places where alcohol is consumed, restaurants, bars, public transportation, subway, buses, airports, and at public demonstrations and rallies, and in Times Square. We are making no open carry the default position for private businesses. That means that any business, grocery store, retail, private home, place that wants to allow guns on their premises will have to demonstrate that and establish that they put a sign out there that says concealed carry guns are welcome here. Don't know how many we'll see, but that's exactly, we're going to give them the option, because what we're trying to do is protect the legitimate rights of private property owners by telling them they don't have.
Wow.
That is, I don't even.
Horrible. It's unbelievable.
It's like, what?
I mean, I don't want to start being like misogynistic right now on this episode, because like I could go that route. I could go, oh my God, I could go down that route right now. I mean, we just, you know.
Well,
here's
what I will say.
I don't want to do that though.
I will, I guess,
I want to be a good person.
Well, this is one thing I'll take it from what she said as a positive though. Use it in a positive.
Right.
This is what happens when men aren't leading.
I know. It's
And
happening in
that's
New York,
just
dude.
what I mean.
And it
And
trickles down.
That's all I'm gonna say
It
on it.
trickles down from the governor. It trickles down from the governor. First of all, get your governor straightened out. Maybe, maybe then you could start blaming all the other guys and all the other men around.
Maybe so. I mean, that's amazing. That's just like
It's
what?
amazing. It's outstanding.
It's amazing.
No, it's amazing to be that people, everybody has their own perspective on reality.
It is,
and some people's are very light, like energy sucking.
Yeah. Or
right?
hold on, what did my one buddy call it? A soul vampire.
Yeah.
Or a spirit vampire. What was it? It was one of those two. It was along that line. A spirit.
Is that really?
Spiritual vampire.
Are you
They suck
serious?
the spiritual life out
Are
of
you
you.
serious?
Yeah. Well, my friend called, I talked to him about something and he's
Yeah.
like, that person in your life is a spiritual vampire.
Right.
That person is just sucking the life out of you.
Well, that could happen to you on both ends. If you're in
yeah.
let's say you're in a relationship and one of them is a soul, regardless if you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter, because
everybody's guilty of.
Yeah.
Everybody can be guilty of.
One of them could be a soul vampire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if a man, I guess, gets in a God and leads the right way, maybe they can overcome it. Overcome the demons. Exorcise the demons out of her. I believe it's true. That is true. That could happen. It's true. But I still believe there's a two-way street. I'm sorry. I just do. I don't think it's black and white like that.
I don't think it's totally black and white like
because
that.
there's enabling on both sides.
There is.
There are elements in place that enable a man to do that, and the women are complicit.
Unless I guess I had an epiphany to bring it back to the Bible, Adam and Eve.
She was denying that.
Yeah,
she was saying that that's not true and taking all the blame off herself. If she showed, it's like her video showed respect, right? To get respect.
Yeah.
So if you're nurturing and you act that way, you get a man who's gonna lead. Let them lead.
Mm-hmm. If you
let them lead,
if you support them too,
especially if you jump on somebody's show.
Yeah, well,
it's their show, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you just go with the flow.
I do agree with that. I mean, that's what makes most good. What would you call it? Like podcast where they interview people.
That'd be crazy if somebody jumped on a show and goes, "We're gonna just do it my way." Like, really? Well, no, we're not going to. We already have a show going. You're part of it.
Yeah,
we're part of it. But
it's already going in one direction. We're not changing it just for one. Anybody.
Yeah,
we're not changing it for anybody.
Yeah,
it goes the way that it's gonna. It's
good though. We learned a lot in real time on this one. I love it.
We actually did. I
love the genuine ones where you do disagree with somebody. Those are so cool because you expose things about yourself, things about humanity.
Mm-hmm. And what I like about it and I still feel this.
Get the real genuine nature of
even with
people,
her, how we did it. I still feel that we all
on the same side.
We're all on the same side, and I don't believe that it's like we're all agreeing to disagree per se.
Right.
Like, in other words, I think
I didn't want to do
this. Will go after you.
If you heard me, I was trying to just say, listen, let's get off this topic because we're not gonna and it's too deep. Because if you really listen to me, I'll keep talking until you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, look, there's lines there that are just
and we had a show
never gonna line up. There's just things and that's okay because what? You're one person, she's another person, I'm a different person.
If we had more time, maybe we could have gotten down to the root of it.
That's true, but if all three of us agreed on the same and we expected everybody to believe the same, isn't that communism?
Yes.
So we're supposed to think, and I love that about this side of things. And I know the credo covers it, but I love it about that side where we can have the even massive disagreement, you can call it sometime. But then it just all of a sudden it's like, hold on, let's really put it in perspective. We're disagreeing possibly over a minute detail, but yet we agree on 95, like you said, I think, % of things.
Yeah.
Why don't we just leave it at, let's agree at 95% and leave the 5% over there.
Yes. And then I was going to play a story and then see what she said.
Yeah, well, it happens, and we.
But I'm sorry, but you know, you got to look at yourself and have self-awareness. People, everybody, okay, especially social media influencers. You have self-awareness, ego. The ego thing clouds your judgment, makes you blind, and you know blow up, and it's just, you know what I'm saying. Come on.
Oh my God, that's a big problem in the world. Because all right, think of it this way. Like all the actors and all the old time celebrities, like
Right.
from the 60s, 70s, or 50s even.
Right.
In order to get to where they were, like, you know, like John Wayne, for instance, right? He had to prove himself. He was obviously worthy as a cowboy actor in the Hollywood scene, right?
Right.
Everybody approved that he was probably one of the best. Well, some of these social media influencers, they don't have any overhead.
That's true.
Like, meaning they don't have like a manager almost. Because, like, I guarantee you, most actors have managers of some sort. Right? So, some of these social media people, which even per se, us, we don't have an overhead even.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think it's good when you can keep your composure no matter where you are, on camera, off, whatever. Because that's the true nature of you. You show who you genuinely are. Like how you talk about practice what you preach type thing.
Yes.
Same thing. Like
we talked about this in yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday on the show.
It just goes
because
even more today.
When you're regardless of when you're in, like when you really take care of yourself and you put in the time, things like chaotic things happen and you just stay centered. And you watch and you just watch it like it's a slow motion movie or something like that.
I've heard people talk about it in similar ways like that.
Right.
And you just and you like look at some people who like you watch them face adversity head on and be all calm and like, you know, when I was younger, I looked up to people that were able to do that. I'm like, I want to be able to do that.
Me too. And this
And
is how you do it, dude. Hey, I'm just teaching you. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
And you know that I was a wreck before.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have gotten to my emotions with her.
I feel like you might have hung up on. You would have hung up on.
I would have gotten in my I probably would have been, you know. I would have because she has ego and my ego and her ego would have been clashing, but I don't, you know, I try to kill my ego. So I didn't get offended by anything. I was just like, okay,
which
whatever.
is what I hope all of us feel, that no one was on any trying to offend anyone. We just everybody had their own view.
Right.
I mean, I think my views kind of combined it a little bit of both of yours.
You did the good thing. You're trying to make it work.
Well, because I joked about it. I was going to be the referee.
You were the son. You were the son trying to make it work.
I might want to run with that egotistically. Just saying.
DeSantis is in the.
Oh yeah.
Did you see this? DeSantis, Florida law now officially prohibits injecting sexuality and gender ideology into elementary school curriculum. In Florida, we will protect our kids and support our parents. I have a video that accompanies it. Hold on.
We will sign HB 1557, the Parents' Rights in Education Bill. And this bill takes three main steps. First, the bill prohibits classroom instruction about sexuality or things like transgender in K through 3 classrooms. And after 3rd grade, those curriculums need to be age appropriate. Second, the bill ensures that at the beginning of every school year, parents will be notified about healthcare services offered at the school with the right to decline any service offered. And finally, this bill ensures that whenever a questionnaire or health screening is given to our young students, parents receive it first and give permission for the school to give it to their child.
How's that? That's our gov.
I mean, I have to add, that's how I remember. Like, I remember being in, I think it was probably 5th grade or so, the first time they ever talked about sex education.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember specifically actually having to get a permission slip basically signed from my parent, allowing me to sit in that class for that, you know?
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm 31 now, so yeah, that was whatever, like 20 something years ago. But and I remember that they had one person who their parents wouldn't sign it. And that was their choice. And yeah, the kid, I was a little jealous because they did it at the end of the day. The kid got to leave school like 2 hours early because he was the only one that was sitting out. They didn't want to make the kid sit alone in the library, so they just gave him the rest of the day off. I'm like, really? But I mean, I think that's how it should be. I think like when it comes to things like that, yes, parents have a say what the teachers are going to be teaching them. Isn't that what back to school night actually was all about? Wasn't it? I mean, unless my memory that foggy, but I really remember back to school night being we take our parents around the school, show them where the classes are, whatever.
Right.
And then the teachers sit there and give you like a probably 30-minute thing about what you're going to learn, what your kid's going to learn this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever remember there being a talk of any kind of gender identity, sexual identity, whatever, ever talk. The only time that was ever talked, by the way, was with your physical education, your gym teacher.
Back to school night. Why did we call it that? Isn't that a weird name for bringing your parents to school?
I mean,
isn't it weird? Isn't it weird? It is weird. It doesn't even say what it is. It should be bring your parents to school night.
Well, because they're going back to school.
Oh, okay.
But like they're not
sorry,
really
I'm
going.
I'm sorry.
But they're not really going to the.
It's like the Rodney Dangerfield movie.
Yeah,
Back to school.
Yeah, that was
a great movie,
yeah,
right?
That's what we watched.
Isn't it a great movie? Did you watch the end of it where he does the triple Lindy?
Yeah, and I have to say, I love how horrible the editing was, where you could notice it, but it was so hilarious.
Dude,
because it was so great.
That's what we grew up with.
No, but it was even funnier because like you could totally tell that it wasn't even a look-alike.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. It's so
Dude,
funny. That's
the dude that made the dive looked like a diver, not Roger Dangerfield.
He just goes up and goes, like does it perfectly.
And then like you're looking at the diver, you're like, oh wow, he's in good shape. Not like Dangerfield. You idiots back then.
Oh my God. Did you see that Ilhan Omar was in the news?
Yeah, I heard she got booed or something.
Yeah,
I didn't really see everything about it.
You didn't see it?
No, I didn't like.
It's not really
read into it.
Anything crazy though.
I just the TikTok post. That's all I saw.
That's what you saw. You saw that too.
Just the post, and then I was just like, oh, okay. Like I didn't read comments. I didn't look into it. I didn't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, that's
so. Andy No had a post also. It was Andy No in the Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok said, "Watch Ilhan Omar get booed for a minute straight at a concert in Minnesota featuring a Somalian singer." Andy No said Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and her husband were booed by the audience at a large concert at the Target Center in Minneapolis on Saturday for Somalian singer Soldan Serar.
I believe that's how I would pronounce it.
So I guess we'll hear that right now. Here.
Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Please. No, please. Okay. Quay ở đây, quay ở đây, quay ở đây, quay. Quay ở đây.
On behalf of Afro-Dublin, we want to welcome Sudan to Minneapolis.
Oh,
that's beautiful. You like that? Huh?
God bless America.
God bless America. God bless America.
That was beautiful because you know what? That just showed that is what your people think of you in your state.
Wow. They won't even let her talk.
And that alone should speak that you should be very worried about your positions. You really should be.
2 years, dude.
I mean,
they got 2-year terms, bro. It's supposed to be a 2-year term, then you're out. You know,
well,
really, I mean, or a couple, but not your whole life. No way.
I don't know. I feel like it should be like, yeah, you have your 2-year, you know,
maybe
term
8
limit,
years. You can
but,
maybe
like,
4. Maybe you have 4. Maybe you have 4 terms.
But you can
4
serve
terms.
8
8 years total. That's it. Because it goes like, you know what? Maybe it should be 3 because, and I'm not sure. Well, that Jubilee thing, because everybody changes after 7 years. Should you let them reach that point where they change? Yeah, 8 years.
8 years.
8 years is perfect.
It goes along with the president as well.
Yes.
And now the Supreme Court thing, I don't. That's a weird one. Like how they're
Supreme Court lifetime. It should be because they should never have. Dude, listen. I learned this.
No. Explain. I'm not sure about it.
When I was living in New York, one of the people I waited on was a judge.
Oh, okay. I was waiting to hear.
Was Judge Justice, a New York Supreme Court, not just a regular judge. He was a New York State Supreme Court Justice, Justice Sweeney. Okay, and so I talked to him, sold him a phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like told him I have a podcast and talked him into letting me come and do the podcast from his office, dude. Wow. I got to go do a tour, and they actually used, this is Madison, so right across the street from Madison Square Park, which is not to be confused with Madison Square Garden. It's a totally different area.
Well, it's a park, it's not the
totally different area.
Arena thing.
Madison Square Park is directly across from the New York State Supreme Court.
Oh, okay.
And they filmed part of like Boardwalk Empire there in the courtroom. It's very old school. It's awesome.
Really?
There's a lot of history. I got to go on a private tour, dude.
That's awesome, man. I never heard this before. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean, dude? What are you talking about? You mean people I've interviewed, dude? I mean, come on.
I know.
I got an idea I got a story for all of those.
Oh no, I know you do. I just haven't heard that one.
But yeah, and then I got to go up because when I first started doing my podcast, it was all in person in New York City.
Oh, okay.
All right, and I did like 60 or so episodes there. It all different people and all different places
walks
and
of life and
all different episodes.
Huh?
And my thing was I would go to you.
Okay.
Go to wherever you are because I don't have a studio or anything like that. So
okay, yeah.
I'll meet you someplace that you think is like that's really like maybe you think that it appeals to your story, maybe, and then I'll meet you there, and then we'll do it from there.
Oh, okay. I like that.
So that was one of them. I went to his, and we did it from the, and you can find it or whatever, but I did it from there. I mean, you can't talk. Judges are not allowed to talk. I learned a very quick lesson. You can't talk about anything like doing this where you kind of shoot the S, and you kind of go stream of consciousness. It would have been a much better fit for me and him actually, because I had trying to, what do you think about this law? What is about this law? What do you think about this law? Kind of like ego,
you wanted to get the controversy.
Yeah.
You wanted
and so then it was really fast. Like, oh, you have nothing to talk about now because I can't talk about any of that stuff.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I learned the hard way that judges are not allowed to speak about a lot of like policy things. Laws.
That makes a lot of
because
sense.
they might rule on that at some point, and they don't want to give the appearance of being, biased.
Yeah,
in any way possible.
Okay.
So they're not really, judges are like, they do have elections, but they're not really like based on right or left per se. And justices, even though you might get a gauge of how they believe based on their rulings, they don't really make it apparent to talk about political things. And so you need to have a judge to feel confident that they're going to be in that position, and they're always going to be there in order to have fair and accurate rulings.
Okay, yeah, no, I get it. I get it now a lot more. Yeah, I guess I've really looked at
That's
it.
why
like,
it's so brilliant. The whole government structure is brilliant. That they put it together, the balance of power, the executive immediately, like what she's talking about. She's talking about hating men, but then like hating Elon Musk. That's the executive. That's the strong executive. And then Trump,
I agree on that.
Trump is a strong executive too. Who's gonna challenge the balance of power? And yes, he made a mistake. This is what I think happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure though.
Right.
I'm not sure if he's the Antichrist or not. And I'm just I'm just following along.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna admit it.
Yeah. Look.
But because the vaccine thing tricked me, man. But maybe he got tricked on the vaccine. I don't know. He keeps on taking credit for it though. Like I agree with what she's coming from on that last one. That last one, she's spot on because that's where he lost me.
I mean, that really concerned me.
I shouldn't even say that the V.
It concerned me
Sorry.
with that, and it really was like, why are you like? I thought you were supposed to push I don't want to say the opposing narrative, but at least the opposing media's narrative.
Right.
Like that's what I thought he was doing with. I mean, a lot of things he was doing. Then with the V's, it was just like, you open my eyes a little bit, and I don't like the little badness.
When you do the one thing, then it's big. So like if somebody is really good and they live by it, right, and they do the right thing all the time, when they do one bad thing, you really notice. And so that was the one bad thing that doesn't follow along with the character, the logic of what he's been doing.
I've actually learned that I just put method to practice on this.
What?
I learned it at TD Bank. They used to tell us when I worked there that reason the bank had a good reputation was because everybody had positive attitude, positive customer experiences. Because one bad time at any place, it doesn't matter, TD Bank, anywhere, you go to that business and you have a bad experience, you are automatically going to tell 5 people, but there's one thing about those 5 people. They're all going to side with you because you're going to tell those 5 people that will side with you, which those 5 tell 5 in turn each. Now you got how many people? I think they did all the math in front of us and whatever. But like once one bad thing happens, it spreads like fire. While when the good happens, it's like water, which makes even more sense that water is all healing and all that, and fire is destructive. Because one match could burn a whole house down.
I love it.
Wow, I just had all that happen.
Dude, because you've had a lot of incense today.
I have, I think. I don't think too much.
That's why, though, I think.
I'm at a happy medium, I think, right now.
Good.
A good, like, epiphany based.
Good. Let me continue here for a sec here.
Mm-hmm. What was the next thing you were going to pull up?
I was trying to take the New York NADIA name down.
Oh.
Good.
Oh, okay. But yeah.
No, but it's fine.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me move on to the next thing so we can start talking about that. I'll do it in the background.
Okay.
Takes a second.
Mm-hmm.
Jayland, dude. Do you remember this? Dude, this is messed up. I don't know. All right. Well, it's messed up on both sides. I don't know. I don't like seeing this. I don't know.
Yeah. Is it
but I'm not gonna
videos?
I got all videos.
Okay.
Do you want me to just play them all in a row?
You know what? Might as well, really.
Here, and then we'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
Shots fired. That vehicle just had a shot come out. Shots fired. That vehicle just had a shot come out of its door. We're southbound on Route 8. On here, going down.
Come on, sorry. I got another one right here.
Yep.
Come on, man.
4th of July celebrations were canceled due to an investigation into the deadly police shooting of Jayland Walker. The 25-year-old black man was unarmed when he was killed in a hail of bullets after a traffic stop. This afternoon, police released the disturbing body cam footage, which shows officers fired dozens of rounds as Walker ran away. This weekend, hundreds of people protested in the streets calling for justice. Elise Preston has been covering the developments today. Elise?
Jerica, the 8 officers under investigation are on paid leave after the attempted traffic stop and deadly pursuit. The police union says those officers are cooperating with the investigation. We have to warn you, the body camera video you are about to see is disturbing. Newly released body camera video shows the moments leading up to the deadly shooting of Jayland Walker.
The officers have not been able to provide a statement yet. I am reserving any sort of judgment until we hear from them.
Akron police say the 25-year-old delivery driver sped off when they tried to pull him over for a traffic violation last week. During the chase, investigators claim Walker fired from the window of his car, a claim his family disputes.
21 shots fired. That vehicle just had a shot come out of its door.
Video shows Walker exiting the car on foot wearing a ski mask. Authorities say officers tried to use tasers to stop him, but opened fire when he turned around to face them. Investigators say Walker was hit dozens of times.
The ME's report indicates over 60 wounds to Mr. Walker's body.
Walker never fired a shot during the foot chase, but officers say they found a gun and a loaded magazine in his car.
Jayland was a sweet young man. He never caused any trouble.
Hundreds of demonstrators have gathered in Akron this weekend to protest. Akron native and NBA icon LeBron James tweeted out, "I pray for my city today." Walker's family and city leaders are urging protesters to remain peaceful.
Listen, you'll have to do one of the most difficult things that I can ever ask somebody to do, and that is to please be patient and let the Attorney General do their work.
Once the state's investigation is complete, the case will be handed over to the Ohio Attorney General's office for further review before being presented to a grand jury for evaluation. Jerica?
Elise, just hearing those gunshots is hard to hear.
They continue to chase him through residential areas where houses and stuff is at. So much danger. For a tail light? Are you serious right now? For a tail light? You chase him from one side of town all the way to Firestone Park where houses and stuff is at, where elderly people is at? How is that fair? The police can do just whatever they want. It's okay. They can take our children's lives and think it's okay. My heart goes out to the Walker family.
Yeah, it's off.
That's you know, there's a line. There always is.
Right.
And from what I'm understanding of the videos and everything that had just been presented right now, why was there such excessive shots fired like that? And yes, I understand the whole threat of a gun and threat of other things like that. But why would he be handcuffed, as they said, and, you know, shot on all the whatever? Like, why? Like, how can I put it? You just unloaded that many bullets into somebody. What was the real point of then putting them in handcuffs later? Like, that kind of is, I mean, a little bit right there. What I'm seeing is showing a little bit of a power thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I'm gonna relate it to the sick stuff I listened to with the serial killer thing, but like, that's a sign of like power, meaning that like somebody got pleasure almost out of doing that. Which, if somebody got pleasure of handcuffing, it doesn't matter race or whatever, a person after they've been shot, there's something very wrong and sick. Which would kind of lead me to think, why would that person also be in any kind of position like that?
Mm-hmm.
Just like I get it. Just like they talk about the background mental health checks on gun owners. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that there should also be that with police officers, if maybe in a more...
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I hate saying it, more aggressive action, but come on. Like, after the things I listened to about that kind of stuff, like things like that, and then seeing that, hearing that, that's sick. Like, that is...
Power corrupts.
Yeah, like...
Wow, it's so crazy how honey, like, works. Just makes you come right back to life.
I know.
Wow.
Just found out about that a few weeks ago, too.
It really works.
But, yeah, it's terrible that something like that.
It's terrible that something like that happens.
Even happens like this. And the fact that it's...
I mean, it's egregious. 60... Now, see, the thing is, you're shooting 60... You're shooting like that into an area. Where are you shooting towards? You know, you're not on a gun range.
No, they were also, I believe,
you're
on
shooting
a road.
into areas where people are.
Yeah, so that also shows blatant, like, negligence and incompetence.
Out of he got shot 60 times. They shot 90 times, but he actually got hit 60. So 30 of those bullets didn't hit.
So actually,
they went elsewhere.
Thank God nobody else got hit. And I mean that because that would be like...
Right. That would be...
Look, regardless...
Showing... That would really have illustrated everything.
Now, regardless, because I don't know the backstory on Jayland Walker, as in like his... Like if there
Jayland?
Or whatever. Jayland Walker, if he is a... Whatever, if he was a criminal or not. I don't know. I don't know if he was maybe doing bad things or whatever. But put that aside. There's no reason to unload 90 shots at one person unless it was a deliberate act to kill them. I cannot see how a defense can turn that in any other way. I mean, the prosecution just going to have to repeat. They shot 90 times at one person.
At how many people? It was like 8. Was there 8?
Yeah,
8 cops?
So like, really?
So 90 divided by 8 is what? I'm so bad with math.
It's roughly like 12.
11.25. Wow. So you got to empty your clip.
Almost.
All of them. Like, what was how much holds a clip?
I believe they hold 15 plus 1.
Okay.
So they unloaded more than half.
75% of they all
each.
Yeah.
Or
each.
if you average.
Some of those people,
I'm sure somebody
emptied.
shot more. I'm not saying it in any way.
But I think all of them at least probably shot one.
I mean, yeah, if you want to blanket it, I would say everybody at least shot 11.2. 11
No,
shots.
they shot at least one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, at least one.
You know, it's an average.
Or yeah, I'm sorry about that. I mixed up the numbers there. Too much nonsense. Yeah, that's... that's just, again, that's negligence, just like the one from, just like George Floyd, in my opinion. That was negligence and incompetence. And you can feel however you want about any of those organizations. And it doesn't matter, because when there's incompetence and negligence there is no excuse.
I agree.
Like, I don't care what side you believe in. I don't care if you are like a total logical person, as in science-based person who doesn't believe in a God. I think we can all agree that that incident with George Floyd, and it looks like definitely this one, and probably other ones out there that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but other ones where they're just pure incompetence and just negligence. And when both of them meet, it's a terrible thing. My prayers definitely go out to his family.
You see, a woman stands completely naked in front of children at an event in San Francisco.
Why?
I got another meme.
Why do people do this?
I got another meme here. You see the other meme? Ever wonder why there are no Democrats on Mount Rushmore?
No, I don't wonder, actually.
You don't wonder that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it says, yeah, me neither. That's what the...
I'm just going to put it flat out like that for everybody listening with my opinion.
Without you even seeing it. How about this, dude? This is what's happening in New York NADIA's
in what
town there in New York City.
Look
at this. There's a child V sorry, let's say V site in Times Square in NYC. And activists are pleading with parents not to get their kids V'd out.
Yep.
This is what's going on here. It's crazy. It's kind of like, it reminds me of an abortion clinic or something. That people are trying to talk sense to them before they leave. Look at this.
Yeah, they are.
Please don't be coming in here. As a doctor, I highly recommend it.
Don't do it, guys. Guys, I'm begging you not to vaccinate your kids. It's been 2 years. They're not sick. They're doing good. Please just do some research. Please just do some research. It's been 2 years. You haven't left anyone else alone. Please. These are precious babies. They don't have a right. They don't have a choice. They don't know any better, sweetheart. Please. All I'm asking you is just to do the research. It takes 5 minutes. I'm asking you just to do the research, please. It takes 5 minutes to do the research, sweetheart. Once it's done, it can't be reversed. I'm begging you, please do the research. I will pay you to do the research. You can come back tomorrow. I'm asking you nicely, please do the research. These are precious babies. I'm asking you to do the research nicely.
How about that?
Okay.
How about that, Genghis? What do you think about that?
Wow. Well, the thing that struck me the most was not what they were saying, not what they're asking, not what the parents were doing. Did you see the toddler in the mother's arms, or what I'm assuming is the mother? Did you see the straight fear on his face? I mean, like, it doesn't matter what any of these issues that you want to protest are. I'm not against the V.
Oh, so you're
research.
You're against the protesting in the face of the kid who's being basically. Oh, I understand your point.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah,
you want to talk on the psychology part and the logic part, like the leftist part.
Okay,
well,
I understand.
What the hell are you exposing these kids to? I mean, there's testimonies I've heard of, like, people after the Cold War, where they had to learn the drills, like if a nuclear missile was heading this way, they had all the nuclear drills, going under this desk, all these other things, right?
Right.
Those kids lived in fear of a nuclear attack, potentially.
Right.
And now these kids, right, have to live in fear or that might be his first memory. It could be a first memory, really, for this child. Having other people talk, like, just, there's anger out there. I felt that anger from that video. Mm-hmm. There are people out there that are angry, and I get that. I'm not a V supporter like that. However, you got to think of the kids too when you're saying of the kids.
I understand if you're like, yeah, okay, but how do you get through to people though? I mean, listen, they seriously believe they're doing the right thing.
I realize that, and that's where I really hate saying it like that. The ignorance is bliss.
But I understand what you're saying. I could see it from the other way. You're right. There needs to be, like, I'm deciding to do this, and I'm bringing my
But I'm not even
child,
looking
and
in
it's
it, yeah.
not, and it's none of your business. And stop, scaring my kid.
it's
Let
not
me
even
do.
about the
Let me do
parent's
what I need to
choice.
do.
That kid is gonna be. I'm telling you right now. Like, just, if you look at the fear of that kid, because I can think of he probably I estimated about 1.5 to 2 years old, so able to run and walk and probably talk a little.
Right.
When I was younger and we would go out in public to places like wherever, all those kids were usually running around and the parents were chasing after them. You know, the kids were being free, innocent, having fun, doing what kids do, which is the parents are supposed to chase the kids around like that. And now, like, just look at the fear in that kid's eyes. And all his mom and dad are probably telling him is that this is just a doctor's office, you know, or something like that. Well, what's the kid gonna think then when he grows up? Thinking like, when I've been to doctors, there were people out there protesting that it's wrong. That kid's gonna be more confused about life than anything else. And once again, my question goes out to both sides, meaning the V side and the anti-V side. Are you trying to be right or helpful? Remember, because I believe both sides are helpful in their perspectives, but like you have to also think like, how are you coming?
Was I trying to be right with Nadia?
No, I don't believe. I believe
because I don't want to be like that. I hope I wasn't.
No, not when.
I hope I
How
wasn't.
can I put?
Maybe
this?
I was a little bit.
If you were, it was because of one of her saying that no, you're wrong. Like that.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
It's not your. It's different when you're just like, no. I don't want to hear your side. No.
Yeah.
We've heard both sides, and I do feel both sides. But you both gave each other time to, debate.
Right.
So
And it's
I
like
feel
now
it
let's
was
just move
respectful.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like with this, that kid is gonna. I'm telling you, that kid's gonna be traumatized, and that kid's not gonna. He's not gonna trust his parents. I bet you. He's not gonna trust. There is gonna be no such thing as we, the people, anymore. With that, why would he trust any the general public after? And then what if he has to rewatch that video when he gets older, or he rewatches it when he's older? You know, like there's gonna be such a mistrust. Because because of all the anger that's being displayed out there.
He didn't have anger though. He was just
no,
honey,
not,
I'm
not,
just trying to tell you.
not the person interviewing.
Oh yeah, the other
people around.
They didn't have anger. They were probably just saying,
There was a guy in there.
It was just a lot of it was a lot of noise, but they're trying to get their attention.
And I get that
for a bigger cause, trying to save lives.
And I 100%.
It gets kind of dirty when you're in the trenches.
That's the whole thing, and that's where I think everybody, as in everybody in the world, is guilty of crossing those lines.
We
one
are.
point
We
or
are.
another.
We all are. We all
because
are.
guess what? You want to call it mob mentality? You want to call it
just let people
in the moment? You want to call it whatever? It's all genuine and kind of natural. Those reactions are it. However, just that kid's face.
Maybe that lady really didn't. Maybe she's in a bubble and she doesn't have anybody telling her the other side at all.
Exactly.
But the only chance is that opportunity before that 2 seconds before they get into the thing
to make her just have that question of wait or that idea of let me think.
Right.
And you know what? I full on understand, and I agree. I hope that happens. I just also really start wondering about it when it comes to like putting the kids in harm's way, because you know what the one side talks about putting kids in harm's way with all the LGBT stuff, and I'm on that side of it, and then I'm looking on the other side of like, regardless of it, these parents think they did their research, whatever research it was. I don't care if it's going to be, if you think it's right or wrong research, it's research. They did what they did through their lens of perception and their people. That's going to be their choices. I understand trying to sway somebody's mind. I get trying to show them the way or whatever. I also see that, like, you have to learn from your mistakes sometimes. And sadly, mistakes can be fatal. We know this. And that's just the the bottom line of life. You're learning. You have to learn these things. Sometimes the hard, really, really hard and tragic way, or sometimes just like a slap on the wrist. However you choose to learn your lesson, I hope you learn your lesson. And that was another thing I heard somebody say. Once you learned all the lessons of life, and when it's your time. If you still have some learning to do, there's a reason for you to be here.
Or maybe you refuse to learn, though. I think that also...
That's where I was tying it in. If you refuse to learn...
I saw if you've refused to learn anymore.
Yes. So...
But if you learned it all and you're like, you know what? I learned it all. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I got all the info
I understand that. And then, dude, that's cool. To make it to that stage is so G.
Oh, yeah. It's also, though, if you think that way too early, like I think a lot of these people are too angry in their ways. No, we're totally right. You're totally wrong. We know. Hold on here.
Yeah.
So you have all the life answers figured out? I hope my theory worked. Bye-bye.
Look at this. Not to stay on the V, but there's another thing I saw.
Have gone to great length to get people vaccinated. We were promised the vaccinations will be a game changer and it will restore our freedom. Turns out none of that was true. It does not render you immune. You can still contract the virus and you can still be infectious. The only thing this vaccine did for sure was to spill billions and billions of dollars in the pockets of pharmaceutical companies. Whenever a government claims to have the people's interest at heart, you need to think again. In the entire history of mankind, there has never been a political elite sincerely concerned about the well-being of regular people. What makes any of us think that it is different now? Never take anything any government tells you at face value. Always question everything any government does or does not do. Whenever a political elite pushes an agenda this hard and resort to extortion and manipulation to get their way, you can almost always be sure your benefit is definitely not what they had at heart. As far as I'm concerned, I will not be vaccinated with anything that has not been properly vetted and tested and has shown no sound scientific evidence that the benefits outweigh the disease itself and possible long-term side effects, which, to this day, we don't know anything about. I will not be reduced to a mere guinea pig by getting vaccinated with an experimental drug. And I will most assuredly not get vaccinated because my government tells me to and promises in return I will be granted freedom. Let's be clear about one thing. No one grants me freedom, for I am a free person.
And that ties in with what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Just to cap it off, actually.
To be free, to be true.
Other than this lady that, you know, got punched in the face that I got a video of.
Oh yeah.
But that really does tie everything in, though, what she said, because in the end we get our freedom from God, and we said that earlier, but we didn't really touch on it. But that was the main message of, you know, the mass today. It's we get our freedom from God, and these people who control the government, their egos get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that they are the ones who give the freedom. Like, look at the governor.
Yeah.
Look at the governor making all those laws, infringing on God-given right to have a gun.
I mean, it's
God-given right to have a gun.
I don't understand how they can just. I mean, I get how they see through the.
And yes, it's going to be. It's going to go right back to it's a game of What is it? Whack-a-mole. It's whack-a-mole.
Oh.
It's a, you know that game, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Because in order for it to get all the way up to the Supreme Court, it just got all the way up to the Supreme Court, right?
Yep.
Now somebody's got to sue the state again.
Yep.
And it has to go all the way up again.
Well, I was trying to find. I guess I deleted that video of her when her response after the SCOTUS rule on her state. I remember vaguely her at the end of her speech, "We will not give up. We will keep fighting," whatever. And I think I even commented on it when we talked about it that day. I'm like, stay tuned. There's probably going to be more laws passed or we said something like that.
See, this is the thing. There are states' rights, but there are above states' rights. There's the United States Constitution, and that goes above everything else. All the states within the country have to adhere to that. That's number one.
Yeah.
So if you're not adhering to that, you're going against the United States Constitution, and that's when the Supreme Court kicks it out. So what she just did, she threw a temper tantrum.
Oh yeah.
She did all this. What are those executive orders?
Yeah, basically.
So she used her executive power to force something.
Mm-hmm. And she's gonna
and the pendulum. What the pendulum's gonna do, right? I mean, but she's gonna force that pendulum for so long, man. It's a game. It's that game, that stupid game.
Well,
just let the river flow.
Yeah,
and let things go the way they need to go, because you don't know. Even if you're in a position of power, you don't know. Let the God tell you. Shut off your brain. Be quiet. And then lead with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So and go get that peace.
People need to find peace.
Yeah, and we're gonna cap it off with a little bit more before we end, because we're gonna do the meditation. We're gonna do the prayer.
Yeah, and
I'm glad I get to do the prayer. Did you see it yesterday? It's funny.
A little bit. I didn't see it all.
I think it's pretty funny, but this woman got punched in the face. I mean,
all caught on surveillance video just released by the 7-Eleven store on North Milwaukee Avenue. The woman says she was entering the convenience store at about 10:20 Monday morning. A man she had never met swung at her on his way out, giving her a broken nose. She had reconstructive surgery this morning.
The ferocity of this attack is just indicative of the criminals knowing that there's no deterrent out here. They can do what they want.
Police are using the surveillance video to try and identify the woman's attacker.
That was a different one than I was thinking.
That was a different one?
Yeah, the one I saw was a man goes into the back of a like a
Oh no, you saw that's right. No, I have that, don't I? No. I never played that? Did you send that to me?
I did on Telegram.
Oh, you sent it to me on Telegram?
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, yeah.
I'll get it. I'll bring it.
So basically,
I forgot about playing that one.
No, not yet. So yeah, I'm not sure on the entire backstory on it, which is even what some of the TikTok page or the Twitter comment that I saw. Basically, everybody was on the same idea there. Like, they don't know the full backstory of it. They're trying to figure it out, whatever. But it's kind of wild because, thanks to SCOTUS, somebody was saved.
Yeah, you're right. And this shows the dichotomy. This shows hypocrisy. You know what? I'm actually very happy that because then that maybe that was the one thing. Yeah. Okay. Now we covered everything.
Yep.
This is crazy. Boom.
And then
she pulls a gun. You can't really see it because it's cut off a little bit there.
Oh, but yeah, the woman in the back there.
She has a gun.
Pulls a handgun, and the man left. And
let's play that one more time, man. It's messed up. He just went in the back and punched her straight in the face.
Again, don't know the backstory on like who the.
But she had a gun. See, so now, how would you be able to protect yourself in New York
if that happened?
And they're trying to stop this. They're trying to stop that. They're trying to make it. And then the governor comes in. You see this? It's insane.
And
I am so happy I don't live up there.
Oh,
and
so happy.
you know that I'm sorry, that has to do that in the culture is what poisons the well and makes the men like they are. You can't blame it on the men. You have to be stronger. That's it. Everybody else around you, it can do whatever they want. But that's insane. What an insane way to think, though, that you could do whatever you want, and then when you meet the man then that will naturally bring the good out of you. You don't have to be good first.
Right. That's
sick.
That's where I differ.
That is sick.
And where,
I'm sorry. That's sick and twisted. If you act nice, if you act like a good, sweet person, you'll get a good guy. Period.
Yeah.
That's the moral story. Forget everything she said. I don't endorse anything, especially after read that credo.
Say?
You read that credo. I disagree. And I told her to her face I disagree. She couldn't handle being said. She couldn't handle someone saying I disagree with you. She couldn't handle it intellectually.
In the black and white version, yes.
Yeah.
In a boiled down version.
You calm down in a fight. In a fight, you calm down. And then you just get your thoughts collected. Don't get in the emotion.
Actually, that just tied in earlier with those police officers that did that heinous thing.
Right. Yeah, look at them.
They did not
Idiots
it at all.
Idiots. They didn't
escalate. They ran with what was in their pre-notion mind.
Exactly.
They said later they found a gun in the car. Later. And that doesn't mean that it was necessarily his either, per se.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, sorry.
It's true.
You're there. I can't back the blue on that one.
I cannot
back the blue on that one.
I cannot. Hey, hit the good news thing again.
Sure. Now, what was the point of doing that during the good news sound?
Oh, what do you mean?
You scum.
Sorry.
See, it's different. That's fine. But
that was okay. That was an acceptable one.
Yeah, because there wasn't nice music playing.
All right. Let's get into the let's still. I wanted to go back to this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you look at this? Hold on.
What am I looking at?
Well, I wanted to show just like you see that right up there. There's a picture of Padre Pio again. You see Padre Pio again? See the family picture to the left, and in the corner of the family picture, there's Padre Pio, little Padre Pio card. I'm excited. I mean, out of all the saints, he's a good saint. Padre Pio's he's awesome. He had the stigmata. I don't know if you know any of this stuff about him. And from Petrolcina, but
that's all I know on him.
We never went into his thing, but I wasn't going to go totally into his thing. I just wanted to just show these links that I had for the Shia LaBeouf movie that's coming out. So it says Shia LaBeouf finds something way bigger than myself. You know, he was saying that in the video. Right? Look at that picture. Look at the picture of them.
That's awesome. That really is.
Shia LaBeouf, known for going to extremes to prepare for his movie roles, scarring his face and having a tooth pulled to get in character. For the 2014 movie Fury, he reportedly refused to shower for weeks to imitate the deprivations of warfare. But even LaBeouf is that the right way to pronounce it? I don't even know.
Not really.
LaBeouf?
I would say
LaBeouf?
Yeah.
LaBeouf was impressed by the life of a Capuchin monk. I hope that's the proper way to say that. I'm completely immersed in something way bigger than myself. I know we heard it from the video.
Mm-hmm.
LaBeouf said in an Instagram post published by a Capuchin friar, Hi Ho. Hi Ho.
Mm-hmm.
So off to work we go. Last week, LaBeouf spent a few days in mid-August embedded at a Capuchin monastery. A few days?
Huh.
That's nothing, dude.
That's it?
In Northern California. Oh, my God. In Northern California. You go up there and you sip some wine, too? Sit a couple days.
Maybe smoke something.
Yeah.
In Northern California.
To familiar, he didn't go to Petrolcina? Italy? He better have gone to Petrolcina, Italy, man. He better have. So anyway, he went to this monastery in Northern California to familiarize himself with Capuchin spiritual life as he prepares to star in a planned film biography of Padre Pio, the mystic Capuchin priest. A release date for the movie, the brainchild of indie director Abel Ferreira, and co-starring Willem Dafoe, he's the best, has not been announced yet. But Pio lived in Italy's, rugged Puglia region after World War I, when staggering poverty rates and the rising fascist movement shook the country and paved the way for the dictatorship of Benito Mussolini and Italy's involvement in the Second World War. Pio was cherished in Puglia for his charitable works, but became renowned for the miracles he is said to have performed and for having received the stigmata, marks on his hands and feet resembling the wounds Christ is said to have suffered while being nailed on the cross. Pio inspired a deep devotional following globally, and especially in Italy. See, look at this. The picture of the faithfully praying in front of the crystal coffin containing the exhumed body of the mystic Saint Padre Pio, displayed in St. Peter's Basilica during a Jubilee Day for the mystic saint at the Vatican on February 6th, 2016. Anyway, severely sanctioned by the church in his lifetime. Pio, who died in 1968 at the age 81, was at times prohibited from preaching and performing the sacraments. But before Pio's death, St. Paul VI dismissed all accusations against him. In 2002, St. John Paul II declared him a saint. Pope Francis had Pio's remains brought to Rome during the Jubilee of Mercy in 2015 to 2016, attracting massive crowds to the Vatican. To mark the 50th anniversary of Pio's death, Francis visited the southern Italian towns of Pietrelcina and San Giovanni Rotondo. That's where I went. Where the friar lived and preached, and described him as an apostle of the confessional. Sporting long hair and a rugged beard, reminiscent of Padre Pio's signature look, LaBeouf said in the Instagram post, "I don't know if I've ever met a group of men as immersed in anything in my life. It's super attractive to see people completely give themselves to something so divine. It's heartwarming to know that there's a brotherhood like this that exists." That can mean anything.
That really could.
Because that's what,
I mean, that was a kind of generic blanket.
It's such a generic thing.
Yeah.
Capuchin Franciscans, whose order was founded in 1525, inhabit the lifestyle and message of St. Francis Assisi, taking vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience. Although we take time to pray throughout each day, our prayer life, such as the liturgy of the hours, a holy hour of adoration before the Blessed Sacrament, or the Rosary, helps us remain in a relationship with our Lord and fulfill our ministries, such as listening to confessions or bringing Holy Communion to the sick. One friar who spent time with LaBeouf last week told Region News Service. The friar said that they shared their lifestyle and community experience with the actor, who was seeking to prepare for the role of Padre Pio in order to help him portray life as a friar in the most accurate way possible. Focusing solely on the ascetic aspects of Padre Pio's life would be missing the greater picture. According to the friar, an essential aspect of Padre Pio's life, the friar explained, was the way faithful can connect with him, because he is relatable. When making a movie about Padre Pio, it is important to show that he was human. He was a brother amongst brothers.
Wow.
Of his religious community. His level of personal holiness was great, he said. However, he was also a brother to share jokes or go for a walk. Finish that up for me.
LaBeouf said on social media that he'd been met with nothing but grace and had learned about the Capuchin and Pio's relationship with God. We're trying to get as close to the accurate depiction of what it's like to be a friar as possible, and try to get as close to like the human, tangible, tactile relationship that this man had with Christ, and bring the good news to the world, LaBeouf said.
LaBeouf?
Yeah, that's how I say it.
LaBeouf, who comes from a mixed Jewish and Christian household, told Interview magazine that he found God while making Fury. Ferrara, raised Catholic, converted to Buddhism in 2007, but has borrowed generously from his religious background in his past movies. So like, he found on the last movie, Fury, he found God, I guess. So,
all right, yeah.
So he was secured in the title role in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Took a pilgrimage. Lady of Angels. That's it, dude. Really? That's nothing. I'm sorry. That's nothing. I hope he, you know what? God bless him.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope Shia LaBeouf can pull it off, because he didn't go to Petrolcina. That's weak. Sorry.
I mean,
I would go, listen, number one, you should, here's me criticizing. You know, I think you're right about like the pick. They shouldn't have picked him to depict it. He drove from Los Angeles up to Northern California, dude. Really?
That's what I mean. Like
first Padre Pio. This is going to be one of those movies that has no depth whatsoever. Sorry, you went for 5-day little camp thing, and that was it, dude.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry, dude.
This isn't gonna be.
That's nothing, dude. That's nothing. Those are not good numbers, bro. They're not.
No, it's not. And I mean, I don't know. Like I said, how I feel is he's just a generic fill actor. Not meaning you just throw him in like every movie. You can just throw him into just about any non-main character role, like, and he'll do good. He'll do fine. But I don't see him as like the main star ever. I did like the movie Holes.
That's crazy. I don't look
at
actors like that though, really, and think that.
Well, because like I kind of have
like that.
I have like a weird thing in my mind that like certain people were almost like meant 100% to be actors, or they were meant to be actors when they were at a time. Like he was good when he was a kid. I feel like in God, what was the show called? He was in a show when I was growing up in like the later 90s or whatever. And I know my friends watched it.
Boy Meets World or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Is that where he came from?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And like in a kid way, he was good. Like he got the point across in that acting role. But as he got older, I feel like it just didn't.
Or maybe I did know that, but I forgot it.
It didn't like, he didn't evolve with it. You know what I mean by that? Like he still acted like a kid almost. Like, meaning the kid can only get it so in depth into a role, while like an adult, some of them can realistically throw themselves into that life. I know Hugh Jackman, who played Wolverine, before he made the first X-Men movie, he had to get super jacked for that, and he did it with like an extreme diet that gave him health complications.
Yeah,
that's dedication,
right?
And I just feel like he's riding on the same child star thing, because it was a big show when I was growing up. I know a lot of kids watched it. I didn't, and like I think he's just riding out on his childhood fame a little. And he hasn't really evolved into the adult actor. That's how I see him. Not that
this could be a really good opportunity, but he didn't put in the effort, man. Because there could have been so many Catholics. I mean, they should have hired somebody who was a Catholic. I'm sorry.
Well, even
look at the Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Look at
the Passion of the Christ was good because Mel Gibson is passionate about Christ.
Exactly.
If you come from a mixed religious household and you don't really care either way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you put a lukewarm thing out, you know that doesn't mean anything. That's like a song, dude.
Yeah.
You could take any interpretation from that at all. That sounds like a mixed religious household.
It does.
Statement.
It does. It really does.
So you really didn't understand the part you played. The part you played is Padre Pio, dude.
I think he may understand because he was told it, but
we'll
he may understand.
But I'm expecting a dud.
Meaning he understands the history of Padre Pio, the man, Padre Pio.
Yep.
But I don't think he'll be able to tap into all of our hearts to make us believe that he is in that movie, Padre Pio.
To fully do it, you really have to immerse yourself, man. You know, you should have signed up to go for like a month or 2 months, 3 months.
Even if he went for 2 weeks, but he actually went to where Padre Pio was, that would have been even more acceptable.
2 weeks. 2 weeks would have been 2 weeks would have been the minimum.
That's what basically that's where I'm most comfortable. Like a week now.
That was
2
the
weeks,
minimum.
Okay, I feel like you were there.
No, he went to Northern California from. Oh my God! All right, we'll see. I don't think so, but we'll see.
Well,
did you see this? So this is just another stupid thing. This tweet: stop taking your kids to drag shows and start taking them to church.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody said, "Amen, Uncle Nick. Nothing bad ever happened to a kid at church."
I could see that. Hey,
oh my!
You know what though? There's everything, just like we said with Trump, the little bad that we don't like that he did.
Right.
We see it highlighted almost, just like everybody else. Everybody in the world sees every person or group. One bad thing highlight the entire thing.
Let's do the meditation.
All right.
This is a meditation of the day. It's called Spreading the Faith Throughout All the Land. To acquire Christian righteousness and salvation, 2 things are necessary: to believe with the heart and outwardly to profess our beliefs. For with the heart, says the apostle, we believe unto justice, but with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. It is therefore the essential duty of every Christian to honor his religion by subjecting his understanding to its doctrines and confessing them openly when the interests of truth require it. I know where he's going with now, because he's saying, like, if you want help, remember, tying it in?
Yep.
If you're going over there and you're touching his cloak and you're asking for help, well, that's a form of it by confessing.
Okay.
You can think of it like that, he's saying, basically. Right?
I see that. Yeah.
So, it was by complying with this twofold duty that the first Christians contributed so much, not only to the honor, but the propagation of our holy religion. When after the passion of our Savior and the first spreading of his gospel, all the powers of earth combined to persecute it and exert the utmost rage of cruelty and torment against its followers. What arms did they oppose to the violence of its enemies? No others, dear Christians, but the arms of an inward steady faith and a generous open profession of their belief. These, joined to the efficacy of a virtuous life, brought a length their persecutors themselves to respect and then to embrace doctrines which could raise men to such invincible fortitude. These were the effects of the glorious testimony they bore to the truth of their religion. The times of persecution are now no more. Through God's mercy, you are not now liable to be carried before pagan tribunals to be punished for the confession of Christianity. But if you have not an opportunity of giving this testimony to your religion, there are still remaining many occasions of honoring it, less splendid, but perhaps not much less difficult and meritorious than those of the primitive martyrs of God's church. Sorry, guys, and that's by Archbishop John Carroll. I hope that I sound better tomorrow. Hope my sensuous voice is nice and smooth
again,
and you know,
not sounding like
I mean, I sound, it sounds weird anyway all the time, but not to this level.
Well, no, this sounds weird. Normally you sound stupid.
Yeah. Let's say the last prayer. So we're going to say the prayer today. We're always going to end with this now. It's the love thy enemy prayer. Love thy enemies prayer. Okay?
Yep.
So in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. You're not going to follow with?
Hold on. Sorry. Yeah. One more thing.
One
more thing down. That was all.
And Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Sorry.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for life. Thank you for love. Thank you for listening. We pray for the godless to find you and in turn find peace. Through meditation and spirituality, let the Holy Spirit enter their hearts. We pray for the people of this great land. Let us all find our way through our personal spiritual paths, especially on this July 4th, Independence Day.
Yeah.
To all of us Americans, we pray for those in positions of power and influence to kill off their egos and lead with character and righteousness. We pray for Mother Earth and the soul of every being herein, with special consideration for the following. For
New York NADIA.
Definitely. Lord, hear our prayer. Are you going to say it with me? Lord, hear our prayer. For
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Lord, hear our prayer.
Also, Padre Pio. Let's just put him in there in general.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Jayland Walker.
Oh, my God, yes. Lord, hear our prayer.
Ilan Omar. Show her the evilness of her ways.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Also, pray for the citizens of Minnesota. Lord.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And especially if you're talking about Minnesota, how about the 2A worker in Milwaukee?
Yep.
Isn't that up there in that area too?
That's Wisconsin.
Well, both of them in that area. Lord, hear our prayer. For who else?
The New York governor.
Oh, yeah.
Lord,
hear our prayer.
Also, the New York citizens as well.
All the New York citizens, Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer. And then the Akron PD.
Especially the New York children who are being V'd out.
Oh, yeah.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer on them. And the Akron PD.
Oh, yes.
Lord,
hear our prayer. And lastly, the dude who punched that lady in the face for no reason, and the lady.
Yeah.
And her nose. Lord, hear our prayer. And we're not trying to make light of
anything. No.
Lord, please hear these prayers which we proclaim for the souls of the sick and who are in desperate need of a physician. May they open their hearts to your Son, Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God forever and ever. Amen. And Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Oh, it was fun.
All right.
That was really good. Yeah.
All right. That's pretty good,
That was good.
I think.
Yeah, that's it. I know. No, I'm just, it was awesome. It wasn't
awesome. It was
outstanding. Pow.
Yes, it was.
Pow.
And I really appreciate, New York Nadia being on. We got off on a wrong foot, but I think that in the end we both believe the same stuff. So I have total respect for her, and I appreciate her giving me time, especially on July 4th. So me being humble, and maybe I should have changed the color maybe before we started. I don't know. Could have always changed the color first. That's me just admitting it. I could have changed the color. I'm sorry for that. All right.
We're all at fault in different ways and everything in the world. So.
Right. And in the end, we live to fight another day. And it's all good.
Live to find God's grace.
So is there any last things you want to? I mean, I know you're about to burn some incense.
Live.
Give me some of that incense too.
Live to find God's grace and live, and also trust.
Trust.
I
trust
mean,
the man. Women.
Trust in the process. Trust in the faith. Trust in the religion. Trust in what we used to have. That is what I believe we have to go back to, and hopefully things will change, and hopefully the pendulum doesn't get pushed too far left, because I don't want it to go too far right either.
No, we don't. We don't need to stay in the middle.
Just stay in the middle. Stay in the
Stop trying to change everything, you pests, you stupid idiots. And as always, the podcast is ended with peace, to love and serve the Lord, and vaya con Dios.
Go with God.
FATENZO.com. Outstanding.